Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here waiting for the second series of this evening to begin. We're going to have Revnak up against Ungers, and it's going to be an Italian mirror once again. I can already see we got some pretty excited people in the chat. Fitzbro in particular, he's looking especially excited with a message like that. All right, well, I don't know about you, but I'm pumped to see this matchup again. Obviously, Italy, a great civilization. A bit flexible, but obviously orientated towards the late game. Now, I know a fair bit about Breeze, a.k.a. Revnak. Don't know much about Ungers. What do you know about him?
Overall, he's not like a super unorthodox player. Like he plays pretty standard, but he has a pretty diverse civ pool. Like he can kind of play everything to an extent. So yeah, overall, I don't know a whole lot about him as well, as I haven't been around as much the last few months, but from what I have seen, playing against him and when I've watched his stream and stuff like that, he is really just a really solid player all around, and he's done really well to learn the new civilizations and master their builds and stuff like that, and he's really come a long way as one of the most improved players in the last year for sure. Making it all the way to the finals is really impressive. And yeah, I'm really interested to see how he comes up against a long-standing player like Revnak, who's been around for 10 plus years.
Well, speaking of long-standing players, is there somebody that Ungers reminds you of? Because when you say those things, the sort of methodical, well, not methodical play style, but very solid play style. There's a person that comes to my mind. I'm curious whether anybody comes to your mind.
Are you gonna say Kaiser?
I am, yes.
I think the playstyle is similar. I need to pay more attention to the micro. The micro was something that made Kaiser stand out with his play. Ungers does have good micro. I'm just not 100% sure on how, whether that's his strength or whether his strength comes in punishing timings or something like that. So I think that's something that you and I are gonna have to find out today, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am very much a fan of players that are, more methodical, do not make mistakes, and then, manage to punish the enemy when they do. All right, we'll be jumping into game number one very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm incredibly excited. Here we go.
So I'm curious to see in this first matchup, in an Italian mirror, if we're going to be seeing a fast industrial from both players again.
I've got a sneaking suspicion we will. I've got a... I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's like, well, you're not going to play H2 because your enemy will make it to H3. You're not going to play H3 because your enemy will make it to H4, so you just got to both, you got to do the dance. Well, speaking of dancing, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first game in the grand finals for what has been an absolutely enormous tournament for Age of Empires 3. This is the Kings of the Old World Grand Final, spawning in on the south side of the map. Playing as the Italians in the color red, it is Revnak, aka Breeze, aka Age of Killer. And in the north of the map, on the color blue, playing as the Italians also, it is Ungers. With me this evening, it's Mitoe. Mitoe, how you doing?
Doing great. We just had a great third place match. Now we're finally getting into the grand final with two players who have been undefeated so far in the bracket stage here. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, I think. And here we are in the first game. We've already got a difference in build orders, as Ungers has gone for an early trading post.
Yeah, interesting to see that, despite these two guys being so close to each other on skill level, as you mentioned, they've been through a steady amount of it. But yeah, we've got a trade post already in queue here.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually going to be a trade post for both players. And it looks like it's probably going to be with the Architect. I believe that one was unfinished, correct?
It may be, but we do see that it's going to be Revnak who actually picks up the treasure. Yeah, so going to be coming through as yes from the Architect. It looks like it. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned earlier the fact that these guys are undefeated throughout the event, but there have been some close calls. You know, in the quarterfinals of the event, we did see Revnak going up against Izad. That series went 4-3. And then by the same token, in the quarterfinals, we saw Ungers go up against Optimus. That was also a 4-3. When it came to the semifinals, Ungers went up against Warsword. That was a 4-3. In the semifinals, Revnak, he went up against Julian. That was a 4-2. So very, very close. It could have been anyone here in the grand finals, but we got these two guys. We'll take it, I guess. Not a little bad effort from these guys. Look, obviously, incredibly talented players. But speaking of talented, have a look what we got here. We got Holy League in this deck. Have you had much to do with the Holy League, Mitoe?
I have yet to use this card. So no, but the battleship I know can be a real beast. The question is, how important is that on this map? I mean, I guess you can throw it in the little pond in between the two trading posts, but I don't see either player really going for water in this game.
I feel you'd be mad not to put it in that little pond just for the memes. Like you've seen a frigate in a pond. Well, how about a battleship in a pond? And they literally just airdrop this bad boy in from thin air. All right, well, the age ups are going to be coming through now. We'll check and see exactly what we've got in the queue for our two Italian players. I suspect we're probably going to have some similar theories here as capitalism comes in as well for Ungers. So we'll take a look now. Look at the title of that deck, by the way. 1v1 Ponds. You know where it's going. You know where it's going. Oh, look at that. He's got the battleship card in the deck as well. He's well and truly prepared for this. We're going to see it, aren't we? We're going to see battleships in the ponds. We're actually going to see it.
There's a possibility. I mean, I'm not sure that it makes sense to send it very early in this game if they're both going to go for a fast industrial. We saw the last game between Warsword and Julian on this map, and they went for a lot of artillery in early industrial, and the battleship or any ship really in the pond doesn't really want to sit there when there's a whole bunch of culverins on the field. So it might be more of a late game thing, actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Obviously, culverin very effective at dealing with any potential naval vessels that are out there, including battleships. I'm assuming the range on the battleship is still 30 as well, so the culverin probably outranges it.
I'm not actually 100% sure on the stats on the battleship, but I think that's correct.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see, but it is going to be just your standard build order today. We've got Uffizi coming through. Obviously, the first card was capitalism. No real surprises just yet. So with that, you're probably going to be expecting to see the 700 coin added into the Lombards as our next card. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. So no real surprises just yet. Everyone's mirroring each other. One of the interesting things to note is that we've got a different position on the TPs here. So we've got Unger's taking a TP out over to the west of the map, whereas we saw Revnak just take one closer to his base. Nothing you can really tell from that, though, is there? All right, well, huge shout out right now to Jezebob, gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the ESOC community. Thank you very much, Jezebob. Very, very kind of you, mate, right there. So that is what a sweet guy. Damn, girl. Thank you very much. All right, well, we've got the first Basilica coming down. Looking to get through another shipment now. We'll take a look and see what we've got. It is indeed going to be the 700 coin into the Lombards. So I suspect we're probably going to be moving towards those 5 Lombards that you always typically see at the front of the base. Nice and tanky buildings for your enemy to kill.
Yeah, I suspect that will be the case. Yeah, not a lot going on just yet in the game. One thing I'm interested to see this game, if you recall the previous series, we saw that Julian went for a greedier industrial, and while Warsword kind of went for a more standard approach, and it worked out really well for Julian. So I'm interested to see if either of these players choose to go greedy as well, and whether it works out for them.
Yeah, I suspect once again it's probably going to be just coming down very heavily to artillery micro. You know, it sort of reminds me of classic Sweden, which was a very similar case where it was just fast industrial into very heavy artillery. Obviously, it's a big focus here. Kind of similar to Portugal as well. You know, ports have got a pretty large emphasis on artillery, but we do see it's going to be the bishop coming through now for Revnak. We'll take a look over at Unger's side and see exactly what his age up is going to be coming through as. Let's take a look now and see. There he goes, about 200 food short at the moment. Not too long to go. Plenty of villagers out already. 21 villagers on food, working hard, and age up coming through now. Any second, it's in queue. There we go. And it's the bishop as well. So really quite the mirror match that we've got going on here. No, nothing to really deviate. And interestingly, we see the Lombards actually at the back of the base here instead of at the front. You know, in the last series, we saw the first match of the day was an Italian mirror. Here, once again, we've got an Italian mirror coming out strong for both of these guys. But we've got Lombards in the back. Obviously, they're pretty tanky buildings. You want to avoid losing them, but I mean, realistically, you want to avoid losing all your buildings, don't you?
Yeah, and like the basilica also increases the construction time of nearby buildings, and I have a feeling that some of those buildings he's building in the back of the base might not be in range of its aura anymore, which means his architects could be a little bit underperforming. If we could take a look at the range of Unger's basilica. So yeah, some of the houses he's building are going to be out of range, but all of those Lombards were in range. Okay. I didn't realize quite how large that range is.
Yeah, it's a huge range, isn't it? Look at that, just massive radius. All right, well, Imperial Age going to be coming through shortly for these guys. Both of them shipping through the 1,500 resources. Genoese financiers, always very kind, the Genoese, towards the greater Italian cause. But yeah, now they're moving towards that, so he'll be putting that bad boy, stocking up the Lombards. And over on the other side of the map, we've got advanced Lombards going to be coming in, so they're going to be chirping through the coin, wood, and food gather rate. I'm curious, Mitoe, do you know what the interaction is with advanced Lombards and experience points? Does it also increase experience points? Because as far as I'm aware, the Lombards are only trickling experience when they're trickling other resources, right?
I don't think it affects the experience points, no. And yeah, they only trickle experience when they're trickling other resources as well. That's right. So
wouldn't it be counterintuitive to get this card, knowing that? Well, we see both players actually going for it, though. I figure, wouldn't it be just counterintuitive because the experience that you're getting would essentially be halved, right?
Well, I think the idea is that you're always going to have resources in the Lombards anyway. Like, you basically never want to have them idle, I think. So you're not really too concerned about the experience per resource because it doesn't really change much, I guess.
Right. Makes perfect sense. All right, well, we've got the age ups coming through for these guys. A pretty standard, nice early age up here. Both players clicking up at about 9 minutes 30 mark. We'll have a look and see whether they're going to be going for... What do you suspect the age up's going to be here? Engineers? Engineers, indeed, is going to be...
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
So Unger's going to be going for the engineer, and then at the same time, Revnak going to be going for the Papal Guard. So interesting. A little bit of deviation from the mean. Right. So we can see that it's going to be Culverins coming through for him now. So with the expectation that it might be Valk. So we could potentially see an early bit of a flank here. I do like this play from Revnak. So we'll have to watch and see how he plays it. But it's going to be shipping through even more resources for those Lombards now. If I remember correctly, I think that's 3k resources, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think that also synergizes really well with the card we were just talking about earlier, but these Papal Lancers are actually just going straight in, and they're going to be trying to catch those Falconets as they pop out from one of these shipment points, I think. And there's nothing really around to defend them. The Minutemen are getting called to try and maybe stall them or buy some time, and yeah, Minutemen from both TCs. And,
classic double Minutemen pop, eh?
Yeah, I think that's already a win. For him forcing those two calls. He's going to get a bill or two here, maybe.
Indeed he does, and Minutemen notoriously poor when it comes to their melee damage, but yeah, beautiful little timing here from Revnak to find this one. Yeah, now going to be looking to try and clean that up. Falk's going to be able to get some shots off. Decent little trade. He's got a beautiful little cliff here. There's no way that those shots, or no way that those Falks are in any kind of danger. A little bit of a runaround coming through. Now looking to ship his own Papal Lancers. dish out some damage in response, but they've just run idle. But Revnak definitely with the tempo in this first game.
Yeah, he's definitely putting on more pressure, and as far as I can tell, like they've kind of got like the same eco setup, so it's just looking good for him at the moment.
All right, well, a couple of ranged cav units coming out here looking to deal with the cavalry. Now got to be a bit more careful as he moves across the crossing. The infantry coming out to greet him. Going to be saying g'day, mate, and forcing those units back. You can see that how the falconets from Unger's classic 3 falcons from that engineer. See Robber's Baron coming through. First of the factories. And Revnak going to be training some more culverin. We saw earlier he had one in queue. Not sure whether he actually completed it or not, but it's going to enable him to have a little bit more of a response here, effective response. We see a second one coming through for him. So
yeah, he just sold all of his food, so he's going to be queuing potentially 4 culverins if he wants to.
Let's it pop for the moment. And oh, hello. Look what we got here. Say hello to my little friend. Oh, at least.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No, never mind. My little friend has gone back inside his... I'm not going to say that.
Not ready just yet.
Not just yet, no. But, yeah, infantry mass continuing to build in the center. It looks like the explorers going down in a duel. Unfortunately, one of them had falconets on his side. And notoriously, you don't want to bring a sword to a cannon fight.
I think that's wise advice.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he didn't take it.
He did not, no. But, yeah, for the moment, players just continue posturing, working towards that 200 pop. We start to see the upgrades coming through. Unger's going to be dropping in that 4 culverin shipment as well. Nice little shipment here. This is such a great shipment. Plenty of value from this as well, because I suspect that's culverin royale coming through at the same time.
I suspect that's likely the case, yeah. Yeah, 4 culverin is just such a strong card. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
1,400 resources, and it's all wood and coin.
Yeah, it's very, very good value. It's exactly what you wanted. Of course, it's to any town center that you like, so you can just pop them in at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, he continues pushing out for the moment. Yeah.
Sorry?
No, go for it.
Finish. Okay. I was just going to say, the meta in AoE 3, like the last year or two, has really, like, you see so many more cannons these days than you did in the past. And a lot of that has to do with, like the game getting balance updates and stuff like that. But like cannons themselves haven't really been touched. A lot of it is also just like players being so much more comfortable with the artillery control.
Yeah, I suspect with especially players like Floco, who is just going to be that, incredibly good, very talented treaty player, he's going to push that forward and force everybody else out. Speaking of forcing it out, we've got some villagers that are going to get forced to the graveyard. It's going to be a short deficit, but he'll be able to clean up the remaining Minutemen here, and we hear that beautiful horn going off, Mitoe. Jeez Louise, look how fast they move. Why are they going so fast?
So that's the, whenever the Bersagliere kills a unit, I believe its next attack stuns an enemy unit and also gives a speed boost to its nearby allies.
Right, okay.
So you can get quite speedy skirmishers.
All right, and that's that beautiful little horn that we hear. It's basically Taunt 31, yeah, but only for half a second. All right. Well, Carl's looking strong. Look at the artillery up towards that north. Unger's just looking impressive now as he begins to push down upon his enemy. Falconet's in a beautiful little spot. They had a great chance to get a volley off there. Not going to be able to do it today, but at the same time, Revnak getting off some decent shots across the pond. See you later, mate. Takes out a beautiful amount of artillery, getting off more shots. Look at these trades coming through for Revnak. Exactly what he wants to see.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade there for Revnak. He loses a couple of goons as well, so not the end of the world. But like the big thing here is the artillery, and it's just going heavily in favor of Revnak with these extra culverins. And Unger's just has to find a way to back up here, but he can't afford to unpack his cannons because then the culverins will catch up, but he's blocking the cannons with his army at the moment as well.
Yeah, now we can see that Revnak looking to try and take advantage of that, pushing forward, almost trying to bait them out, but the culverins just moving forward ever so slowly from Unger's. He's going to be able to get off the shot. Nice little volley there for him. And players head their separate ways for the moment as the trade ship comes in to clean up the last of the culverin. Boom. today. But hey, have a look at the shipments. What do we got coming through? Tell me right now, Mitoe. Tell me it is what I want to see.
I think I'm not expecting Ungers to go for that papal shipment while Revnak has the big Culverin advantage. But actually, the Culverin trade's not going too bad. And he already has the 2 papal bombards, actually. Did that arrive when you were asking me?
Yes, I did. Indeed it did. And he's going to be trying his best to hold on, managing to take out a couple of Culverin. Still looking pretty decent for Revnak, but at the same time, those bombards are going to be able to defend this position. Single Culverin remains. The question's going to be whether it's going to be able to hold on against all these units here. But it looks like players going their separate ways, and I think Revnak's going to need to throw a few more Culverin in the queue. Potentially 5.
Yeah, that was a good hold from Ungers, and he might actually even pick off the Culverin on the retreat here.
Yeah, he's looking really, really strong, and he spotted out the factory now of Revnak. He could turn his attention towards that. Obviously, the factory, the strongest buildings in the game, if not the strongest building in the game, the equivalent of, I mean, realistically, what is it, about 10 villages? It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, now take a look at the population, both villager and military count. Ungers is nearly max population. He's got a slight villager lead. He's got a slight military lead. Things are actually looking good for him. It almost feels like maybe Revnak, you know, he had the Culverin advantage, and that was great. But maybe he neglected making his own falconets or papal bombards behind it, and that just meant that Ungers had a stronger standing army once the Culverins were gone.
Yeah, that could be it 100%. And now looking to posture down around this this native site. We can see the Culverin looking to try and take any picks they can potentially get. Still looking pretty decent. He's going to drop down the outpost, get himself a little bit more line of sight. Now begins pushing towards that enemy base. Falconets on the north side continue to crawl forward. We hear that beautiful siren going off as the Alpini shipment has arrived. Mitoe, pop quiz. What does Alpini do?
It gives you 15% damage against, or well, just 15% damage, and then I believe if you attack move, your units will prioritize units that they counter.
That sounds like a very good card, doesn't it? Yeah, one of the best cards in the game. You know, it essentially just takes the concept of micro and just puts it on the back foot. You don't need to worry too much about it.
The thing is, I think in this situation though, where you're trying to trade skirm for skirm, like these dragoons aren't very important, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of cannon volleys going off here.
Oh no, the Culverin are all stacked on top of each other. Oh, he only hits the one though. Still another one on the backside. It does go down. He's got a single one remaining, and Ungers gets the shots off. He only hits one Culv. They've all moved, fortunately, and now looks like Revnak going to be able to hold here as 2 Culverin remain, but his skirms are going to be looking to focus down the Culverin of his enemy, and those bombards continue pushing up, dishing out so much damage. Goons standing by idly. They're not too fast, and the Explorer is going to be the key to the victory here as Ungers claims the first game in this series.
Nicely controlled from him in that last fight. All those bombards getting great volleys off. Even though like he lost his Culverins, those weren't the units that Revnak needed to be killing. He needed to be eliminating the units that will actually do damage to his Bersagliers, and he didn't. And yeah, really well played to Ungers. I actually thought he was in trouble early on. It looked like Revnak had a good timing in early industrial, getting that trading post down, getting some good trades with the Papal Lancers in the base. But Ungers didn't panic, and he pulls off the win.
Yeah, kept it together. He did a good job. It did look really scary when those Lancers came in. But yeah, as you mentioned, it was impressive hold. All right, well, we're going to be jumping into game 2 shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware, we're working towards that $10,000 goal. Obviously, yet to reach it just yet. We do hope that that it does get reached, but the hours are beginning to dwindle, Mitoe. I'm starting to get a bit worried.
Yeah, time is short to hit that goal. 5 digits, they're so close, but so far.
All right, well, game number 1 going over to Ungers. I suspect that the players didn't really expect that. Actually, hold on. Let me take a look at that. No, never mind. Ungers actually had more points than Revnak to win that first game. So congratulations go over to Iron Turtle and 15 others. Now game number 2 going to be coming through. God, oh my lord, what civilization is that, Mitoe? I've never seen that civilization before. It's got a blue flag with some yellow on it.
I think I've seen that one in AoE 4. Is that the French?
It is the French. Look at that. French coming out in the second game. Revnak actually looking to blow his second DLC Mediterranean Civ in a row. It's going to be the Maltese. We've got a French versus Maltese matchup here. Now, I don't know too much about how this matchup goes. I suspect French probably going to be looking to be aggressive quite early on. Maybe do a little bit of that semi-FF stuff that they're infamous for.
I would expect semi-FF to be a decent plan.
Well, as a member of the semi-FF lobby, I'm not surprised. Notorious in your constant desire to keep semi-FF as the most popular and relevant strategy in Age of Empires.
I never semi-FF. Have you
Exactly.
never watched me play China?
That's exactly what a person who semi-FFs all the time would say.
Okay, you got me. Yeah, I like the semi-FF with French.
It's pretty strong. Yes. Look, I suspect it's going to be pretty decent as well here. One of the key things that we know about the Maltese is they're a little bit slower to get the ball rolling. French, I mean, we see some crazy stuff out of the French. I remember when, like, I used to think the 4 minute and 6 second age up was like really crisp, and then people started just doing like this 3 minute and 40 second age up. I'm like, excuse me, like, you can't be aging up that early. That's illegal. Like, that's just so damn early. Like, the only civ that does that is the Ottomans with a food treasure. You can't be doing that. But obviously, the French, they're an exception.
The good old days, the 1210. Sadly, not always possible anymore, but still pretty good if you can get a food treasure.
All right, well, we'll be looking for it, seeing if we can spot out any of those food treasures. We'll be jumping into the second game very, very shortly. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 in your grand final series for the Kings of the Old World. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing in the color blue as the French. Your victor of the first game, it's Ungers. And on the north side of the map in the color red, playing as the Maltese. Your loser for the first game, it's Revnak. Mitoe, how is Revnak going to get himself into this game? Obviously doesn't want to start off a series 2-0. Needs to make sure he evens up this game for sure.
It would be big if he could pull off a win with Malta. I mean, I hate to say it, but I haven't really seen a lot of success from Malta in this tournament. So I'm hoping that he tries something different from the standard play, because the standard play doesn't really seem to be working out. But I'm not sure if that's likely.
All right, well, we'll have to watch and see how he plays. The market upgrades are starting to come through. You can see his macros pretty on point here at the early stage. We'll take a look at the deck. He's gone for a deck called 1v1 Brit. It seems that France is such a rare civ that he plays against. He doesn't even have a deck for it, or perhaps it's just the Brit deck's maybe a bit more specialized against what he wants to do on this map. Could be the case. But I think we've got all the standard cards that you'd expect in this deck, so I'm assuming that it's just going to be 3 Vils into German tongue into Wignacourt constructions. Would you be expecting the same thing?
I think that's a safe assumption. It's kind of just been the meta build, and I don't think anyone's really found anything better just yet. I hope to be surprised, maybe, by either Revnak this game or Ungers in the future game this series, but for the moment, that's a safe assumption.
All right, well, we'll have to look and see how they play it, as Unger's now going to be moving towards, don't you dare make a 14th villager. You can't be making 14 Kura de Bars in 2022. We're all about those fast age ups. 13 will get you up at 406 if you're lucky, as long as you find a food treasure on the way. But his deck looking pretty standard here as well. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Got the Jaegers in the deck. One of the interesting developments that we've seen with the meta over the last year is that the Black Riders have definitely fallen out of favor with the French. Definitely Jaegers a lot more favored now, aren't they?
Yeah, Jaegers are pretty good. I don't know that I ever really saw anyone use Black Riders with French. It was kind of like Swiss pikes, maybe. But yeah, the Jaegers have their uses. They can be quite strong in a lot of those skirmisher fights. And I think in this matchup, we know Malta likes to stick to that pretty crossbow-heavy composition. And how do you kill Jaegers with crossbows? How do you do it?
It's tough. It is very, very tough, yes. You build a lot of them. I suspect that's probably going to be the way. Either that or he looks to go to H3 himself.
Well, even age 3 Malta seems to be sticking with the crossbow, but yeah, I think a lot of crossbows may be the answer. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be the standard build for Revnak here. Well, I say that he is gathering the wood for German tongue, but he also has a villager going forward into the center of the map.
But it is getting scouted out, though. There's a blue scout right next to it, so it's just going to be for a little bit of herding. He's playing it safe, and Scout going to do what the Scout does best and begins to harass the locals. Villager. Oh, well, I say that, but he just walks past it. He's like, never mind. I'm not going to bother.
Okay, so he's going to be walling up the center here. I'm curious to see if he places that commandery from the German tongue shipment in the middle of the map or not. And now that he's sent the card, he spent the wood on that card. We'll see if he places those walls again.
We'll take a look over at the base of Unger's as he's aged up now. We see 4 Cour de Bois on the way. Stable being dropped down as well, so it could be just that 5 Huss semi that we always love to see out of a French player. And got a little bit of a wolf doing a scout around the TC. Explorer picking up the 40 food outside the base as well.
Yeah, he's going to be...
Yeah,
sorry?
go for it. No.
I was going to say he's going to be spotting that stable. Not going to be too surprised by anything French is doing. How possible is it to even be surprised by French? I mean, I guess you could be surprised if you saw a church and the church card in their deck and be like, oh god, the Grenadiers are coming, but other than that...
What if you saw, Samwise build? I mean, I would be surprised by that.
That's true. That's not a very meta build anymore. That would be a little bit of a surprise.
Yes, it would be, but it does look like he's just walled off the center. Not going to be putting anything out here at the moment. Explorer well and truly discovering everything there is to discover. But we do see just the standard build order coming out. A couple of pikes also in queue, so could be looking to focus down that trading post down towards the east side. All right, he gets out 4 pikes, heads over towards that east side of the map, but we do see 8 population at the moment for Unger, so that's going to be 4 Hussars. He'll be looking to push over towards his enemy's side of the map, but obviously not going to be able to really deal with these pikes that well. Hussars not typically known for their decent matchup against pikes.
Well, you say that, but the pikes aren't going to be at home.
This is true. So perhaps he looks to queue up another one. Yeah, he's got another one in queue, which is definitely the right decision here. To bring just a couple more to the party. It's exactly what he's going to do. But now that Unger's going to be running around the outside of the map with the Hussars. Let's see if he spots out anything. It doesn't look like he's going to have much luck here. Much of the villagers underneath the TC for the moment. No one going to be out here. As long as Revnak paying attention. So he jumps inside the TC. But hold on a minute. Looks like he's might be lucky here. Does he get a good body block? Doesn't look like it. But a villager is going to go down. And he was super happy with that. That is absolutely everything you want in the early stages of the game, and going to be able to pick off the pikemen as well.
Yeah, and quite a lot of idle time on those villagers. That's, I think, over 20 vills in that TC. So that's a nice raid from him for the cost of 1 Hussar.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the map, he's losing his trading post. I'm not sure if he has anything to deal with that just yet.
Well, there you go.
The CDBs, there you go. That's the answer.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, I didn't expect it, but it's that's a decent response. I mean, how do you deal with that? Do they have... Oh, the blunderbuss is coming through. So he's got Great Coat that just arrived. So he can be out here, but blunderbuss yet to come through. But they still deal so much damn damage. Look at that. And now that the cavalry going to be coming through, going to be able to clean this up. He does actually trade one out. Also takes out the Explorer as well. H3 coming through. There's going to be skirmishes that he begins with. And I suspect probably going to be moving into that classic goon skirm composition that those French players love to do.
Do you think that was worth it?
I think it was probably pretty decent for the French player, right?
It's probably close. I mean, like he killed all the pikes. He kept the TP alive, but he did idle his vills a long time, and he did invest into blunderbuss. And he might lose it anyway. Did he repair the TP or not? I'm not sure. It looks like the units are running away, so he must have. Yeah, he got a little bit of a repair off there, I think.
Yeah. I do like blunderbuss, honestly. I feel like, you know, French players really don't leverage their incredible villages enough. But look, I think it's unlikely that we're going to see them start moving out across the map and look to dish out any damage over on the base of Revnak.
Honestly, blunderbuss is kind of an underused upgrade by all civs, I think. Like, there are so many times where, like right now, you just see this villager, or potentially there could have been a villager punching this Hussar, and blunderbuss helps you with that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, it looks like the Hussar's doing some pretty decent work, but it's going to be the second town center coming out from the Bishop for Revnak. We'll watch, wait, and see exactly where he goes with his shipment order. And, yeah, unfortunately, doesn't have a shipment available for himself at the moment. But that TC, oh my lord, look at where that TC's thinking about going. No, Revnak, you're not going to get the TC down over there. He looks to try and get it down a bit closer. He's going to be successful, but he's got a little bit of a problem because Ongus has got units in his base. Five goons.
Unfortunately. Sorry?
I was going to say 5 goons beginning to siege down that town center. He's got skirms here with it. Now 5 more goons coming through. This is not looking good already. This is a big L coming out for Revnak at the early stages. Hussar's going to be popped out. Looks to try and dish out some damage, but the goons just all going to be able to focus that one down very easy and cleanly. And things not looking good. That is not what you want right now as Malta. It's already so difficult for you as a civilization. You already feel so slow, so far behind. And now, all of a sudden, you've just lost the TC.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Really good catch from Ungers, for sure. Being a bit bold with his goons, just running straight in there and paying off.
Yeah, impressive stuff. But by the same token, Revnak playing full greed here, like getting a lot of his market upgrades in and deciding that that's where he's going to put down the town center. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a great little spot, but it's pretty far away. It's difficult to defend. Very, very risky business.
Yeah, for sure. And now, skirmisher count starting to grow for Ungers. That's going to give him a nice advantage in these trades with the crossbows with the extra range. And, yeah, things are looking good for him. He's going to probably have to send the Falconets as his next card, I would imagine. He's going to have that shortly. Ooh, and catching the Hussars as well. This is just going really well for Ungers so far in the early fortress stages here.
Yeah, he's really, really fortunate here. Able to pick that up. And hold on a minute. We got somebody in the mix right now trying to take a bite out of that bad boy. Fortunately, looks like he'll get taken out, but yeah, now pushing forward with the crossbows. Gonna have a lot of luck there. Only able to take out the one dragoon. Now focusing his units down on this central wall, looking to take it out. We're seeing more and more skirms coming through. He's already shipped the 8. This is going to be another 7 coming in to back up. So the mass is really starting to build here. Interestingly, no 2 Falconets coming through just yet. Why do you think that is?
I guess maybe he just wants to maintain the mobility with his army for now. Or maybe he's expecting that. Maybe he's expecting Revnak to like be making culves preemptively or something like that, and he doesn't want to invest into them. I'm not sure.
Typically, at this point, you would have expected it to come in by now, yeah?
Yeah, normally once you have a decent mass of goons and skirms, it's kind of the natural follow-up. But it's not the only way to play for sure. Like, sometimes saving those Falconets for a rainy day can be just as good because your opponent's going to be expecting them and they're going to be preparing for it. And sometimes that means, like, if you go for a different composition, they're going to be caught in the back foot. And then later on, those Falconets are going to be even stronger because they've been put at a disadvantage with the initial composition, taken a bad fight, and then you get a good trade with Falconets later on.
That's it. Exactly it. It can be very difficult to deal with when, you know, all the resources have run out and you're down to 16 villages and it's like, what the hell, 2 Falconets? But now the crossbow's moving forward, looking a little bit better. Got their, they've also got the fixed gun coming up the rear as well. Take a look at that, the most recent shipment that's popped through. Mitoe, what can you tell us about the fixed gun? In fact, I can tell you a couple things about it in my time.
Oh, why don't you tell me a couple things about it?
It's fixed, and it is a gun.
Okay.
That's what I've got for you. Oh my lord, the fixed gun just destroys the skirms. Good night. Oh my, did you see that, Mitoe? Oh, Mitoe, look at the fixed gun go.
That is a great position for it. It does have minimum. It does have a minimum range, so Ungers could take the fight right underneath it and be okay. The reinforcements, though, coming could get picked off. But I think he does have the army here. He needs to be a little bit. He needs to be okay with the goons. Like just fight with the goons. He can force these crossbows back.
Oh my lord! Did you see that? What a beast! That thing just.
Those were some sick volleys.
Yeah. Oh my lord. That is what dreams are made of right there. That was impressive. Oh no! Skirmishes! Skirmishes! Jeez Louise! It is not a good time to be a skirmisher. That is for sure. At least not a French one.
You've got to bring those reinforcements in stagger mode. And this fixed gun has done wonders for Revnak already. He's actually, I think he might even be in the lead now.
I think so.
Despite losing that town center, losing a couple villagers, like taking a couple of bad trades, this fixed gun up in like just an amazing location in the middle of the map. And yeah.
Oh my lord. Look, if you're not putting the fixed gun on the thumbnail, what are you doing? Because that thing just went ham. That literally was the reason that this game just turned. Because not only was it able to take out 3 skirms, and then another 3 skirms, then another 3 skirms, and then 3 more reinforcing skirms, the big factor here was that it was a huge target for Ungers, and it put him in a difficult spot where he was forced to make a decision. Do I commit and try and kill it? Or do I run? And he said, I'm going to commit. I'm going to try and kill it. And he got stuck. He got stuck on an island in the middle, and Revnak absolutely rinsed him.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tough situation to be in. You've already lost a bunch of units to it. You can't just retreat. You're just going to lose more units. And so, yeah, he took the fight, but yeah, Revnak just had enough, and had enough units coming. He could reinforce his army, and Ungers couldn't.
Well, impressive little positioning there for Revnak, and I love the fact that we saw that with a fixed gun. I didn't actually know where it was, and you know, very fortunately, our wonderful observer Joshua, he caught it with the perfect frame, like literally a quarter of a second later, and we wouldn't have seen that. And that just, oh my god, I'm gonna have dreams about that, and it's not gonna be nightmares, I assure you. That's gonna be the good stuff.
Oh my god, you might be playing AoE 3 in your dreams?
If you're going to give me fixed guns like that, whew, a man can only dream of guns like that. Whoo-wee. Oh, jeez. All right, well, let's focus a little bit more on this game. So Revnak's in a pretty decent position now. We can see he's up in score. He's obviously playing as the Maltese, which, you know, it's a slow start, but once the ball gets rolling, things are feeling pretty good. At this point in the game, I feel like he's a very solid favorite to win this, Mitoe.
Yeah, he's looking quite good. I mean, it's not over for Ungers by any means just yet. The cure switch could be pretty big. If he gets a good trade with the cures, that will kind of be the way he gets himself back into this game. It's always going to be tricky though, because that fixed gun gives him a lot of control over the middle of the map. Yeah,
well, let's see how he plays it. And we've got a bit of a transition to Cuirassiers now starting to come through. How do you like this transition?
Normally I think it's good, but the Order Dragoons from Revnak here, he's got a decent mass of them, and they're pretty strong with the extra 10% attack and HP that they get. And he's got, yeah, I'm not sure that the cures are going to be effective here.
I'm feeling the same way. It's starting to look a little bit scary. Yeah, typically Order Dragoons, or Consulate Dragoons, they're just incredibly decent at dealing with this, so you can guarantee that there's going to be one-shots going in. Now the crossbow is going to have to fall away from this position. Scam's got a nice little spot down here, but I guess the main question for me is where's that fixed gun at? I think it still might be in the center, so I suspect Unger's going to be looking to try and push away from that position. Falconet's on the back line. Let's see if they get a nice little volley, and indeed they do. Beautiful little pickup right there, managing to take out just a handful of those crossbows.
Yeah, these trades are exactly what he needs. The economy is roughly equal in terms of villager count if you account for the fact that CDBs gather faster. I'm curious though if Revnak has sent Wignacourt yet. I didn't see if he'd sent it earlier.
Yeah, he did.
He did, okay. Yeah, so his economy is probably quite a bit better then. He's got that second TC up on the other side of the map. Now there's a bunch of exposed CDBs here about to take fire.
See how he does. Dragoon's running in, coming into melee, looking to try and dish out some damage. Obviously the Coureur de Bar have got plenty of ranged armor, so it's much easier to get them into melee. And now those shots coming down, Falconets finding their way. Arrows firing off as well. But now we've also got another raid down on the south side. This hasn't been spotted yet by Ungers, and it definitely could be, as A lot of units moving down towards this position. Ungers knows that if he loses out all of these Kura to buy, that's going to be all she wrote, because that is a lot of villagers right there. He brings all of the units, and we got these little fire throwers. What is this, Mitoe?
Hoop throwers, and they do siege damage, so they're doing quite well against the CDB's ranged armor here. And this is that situation with French where you just take the CDBs and you just go all in and hope you win the fight hard enough to kill your opponent's villagers afterwards. But I think the damage has been done, and Revnak, I think, is going to escape through the trees here. The Cures are going to have a hard time pathing, and there's just not enough of them.
Falconets finally getting the memo that there's a fight down here on the south side. Do eventually make their way across. They would have been helpful at chopping down these trees with their cannonballs, and going to unpack, getting off some decent volleys right there. Beautiful little shots on the backside, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough, because I mean Ungers is really behind on the villager count. Don't dare look at it, Mitoe. It's cover your eyes, children. This is not good. This is not good for our French fans out there.
What do you mean? It's 62. You just have to read it right to left.
Oh, of course. It makes all sense.
Yeah.
62
to 46.
versus 40. It's a perfectly balanced game. Everything is fine. Everything is not fine. The house is on fire right now. Mitoe is that little dog sitting at the table. This is not fine, guys. And the score continues building that way as well. We've got about a 5k lead at the moment. Revnak doing very well in this game, and I think it all just comes down to that fixed gun sitting right there. Look at him. Isn't he just... You just kind of admire him, don't you?
Yeah, it's just so hard to approach it.
Independent. Girthy. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that one. That was too much. That was too much. Outpost coming up. Going to be providing a little bit more line of sight there. Yeah, look at that. Jeez, get some of that in you. I mean, probably don't. That is a lot. This was based on something real, right, Mitoe?
I believe so. I'm not sure what the history is, though.
I'm going to Google it. Give me a second here, because, I mean, we got some downtime, because realistically, Malta's won this. Oh, no, don't do it. Don't do it. What are you doing? Don't wait. Don't walk towards it, Ungers. This guy doesn't learn.
He's starting to feel that maybe he doesn't have an option. He does have petards out now, though. That's maybe going to be what he uses to try and kill the fixed gun. But, man, the army for Revnak is just so much stronger now. He really needs a miracle fight here to get back into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. But you're right. I think short of Revnak just deleting his army, it's going to be very difficult for Ungers to win. Indeed it will be. Good game gets called. He's like, you know what, that fixed gun, that's kind of, you know, had he made Culverin, I suspect the story may have been a little bit different. But he didn't make any Culverin. And as a result, Ungers is going to be tapping out. Revnak manages to pick one up and get himself on the board here. Ties it all up. This is a best of 9 series, so if you're thinking of going anywhere, do not. Cancel your plans. We're going all the way with this bad boy.
Yeah, we have a win with Malta on the board. I'm impressed.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking a little bit about it earlier, that you weren't particularly impressed with the Maltese throughout the event so far. But, look, Revnak definitely pulling one out today, so yeah. Look, to be honest, there were a couple of I mean, that was the big throwaway, wasn't it? We were a bit scared there when we saw that fixed gun. And I think Ungers there was a pivotal moment where he said, I can commit to this, or I can just back out and cut the losses. There's a little bit of that, you know, that sunk cost fallacy. Well, I've already lost my skirmishers here. I might as well go in and try to kill the remaining units. But, yeah, unfortunately didn't work out for him. All right, well, we'll be moving into the third game shortly, ladies and gentlemen. So the victory there going over to Revnak. It is 1-1 on the board. The question is, where do we go from here? What is the map going to be? What are the civilizations going to be? The ball's going to be in the court here for Ungers. Speaking of Ungers, who are Ungers is obviously very good at the game. We've got someone else in the chat right now, a little bit of a celebrity, a little bit of an MVP who's also very good at the game. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Harrison. Harrison, how are you doing, mate? Welcome. How's Germany? I saw your cute little photos. Don't be hiding. Don't be hiding your photos. Share them in the chat. No, don't share them in the chat. I really wish I could share with everybody the photo. It actually looks awesome. Where is he? I saw him here in the chat just a second ago. Come out, Harrison.
He's avoiding you.
I don't see him. All right.
Oh well. Don't feel. Oh, there he is.
You'll find a better photo later on. Let me check the photo. Let me judge the photo. Hold on, Harrison. That's a good photo. Honestly, it's a good photo of you. Is that a weapon? What do you got there under your right arm? No, it's not a weapon. I think it might be a hat. Are you looking at the same photo, Mitoe?
No, but I've already seen it, I think.
I'm just gonna send it to you just so we're on the same page. All right. Well, thank you, Harrison, for coming in with the resub. We see you. Coming in 6 minutes ago, but 16 minutes ago, we also had Car Kit coming in with $5. Thank you very much, Car Kit. We also had Best Boy Faramir coming in with $1. He asked the question, does this make it to $10,000? I'm bad at math. I think we're still short a little bit, Best Boy Faramir.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Keep going.
Well, it looks like we have our next matchup, and it's going to be Spanish for Revnak and Germany for Ungers.
Ooh, a classic. Jeez, this is going to be one that we're both comfortable here with, Mitoe. I'm looking forward to this. This is old school. No DLC civs, no Africa civs.
Wait, don't speak too soon. Spanish has some new cards. You never know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. Hold on. I got to quickly do my research. Let me just jump into the Spanish home city. What do we got here?
So the card you're probably going to want to look at.
Imperial Age, Peninsular Guerrillas. This one? Improved ranged infantry attack and allows skirms to see the location of enemies they've recently damaged.
That one's decent. There's the House of Trastamara. I think that's the one in Age 2. I probably butchered the pronunciation, and everyone who speaks Spanish in the chat is going to flame me, but it's there. It's in the Commerce Age. And that card really enables Spain some more options in playing the Commerce Age, or even like going up to Industrial Age after a long Fortress Age.
Arrives fast. Your next age up is cheaper and faster the more shipments you've received in your current age. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what the percentages are.
I believe it's like 160 to 180 resources off your age up per shipment. It's pretty good.
So you're telling me potentially I could do a fast fortress, ship 10 unit shipments only because I'm playing Spain and I've only got unit shipments in age 3. And then I send this card and I get a free industrial age.
Not free, but cheap.
I like it. I like it. Is it something common? Do we see this a lot?
I'm not super certain. I've experimented with it a little bit. I think it can be quite good sometimes. I think it's good. It's situational. There's also the Marvelous Year, but looks like we're going to be getting into the next game.
I'm going to game number 3. Now, hopefully we got the matchup right. It's going to be on the map. Which map have we got here? It looks like it's going to be Kurland.
Yeah, this is the one we witnessed Sweden versus Germany on earlier.
Yeah, I don't mind this map actually. The ice is notorious. I remember raging about the ice on Arctic territories. I remember playing a game against the Lakota on Arctic territories, and I couldn't wall my base, and I just had to. Well, I'm sure you can imagine what happened. It wasn't pretty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 3 in your grand final. This is Kings of the Old World. We are here to bear witness to 2 of the greatest players currently in Age of Empires 3. Spawning in on the east side of the map in the color blue playing as the Germans. It's Ungers. And on the west side of the map, playing as the Spanish in the red, it's Revnak. Mitoe, this is a classic matchup, one that we've seen many a times before. Two vanilla civilizations, two of the good old-fashioned AoE 3 civs. What are we expecting to see today? A little bit of that old fast fortress into a kill each other in the middle strategy?
Yeah, no unique cards here. Well, there is the H4 card for Spain in there, but other than that, looks like a pretty standard Spanish deck to me. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy. Fast Fortress sounds like a plausible strategy. It might happen.
All right. Do we dare see a logistician out today from our Spanish player potentially? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'll allow it. Well, the deck over on the other side of the map for Ungers is called 1v1. Everything looking pretty standard in here. Nothing too crazy. In fact, that is, I think that's literally the same deck I'm running right now. Everything is identical, with the exception of maybe 600 gold being supplemented for like 2 settler wagons.
You don't have cavalry hit points in your deck?
You know what? I do have cavalry hit points in my deck because I'm not crazy. It's an interesting omission, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's got Doppelsoldner hit points in here. I don't know like, we can't read too much into that right now, but it is possible that he could do like a Doppelsoldner semi or something, and if you end up in a long age 2 with Spain somehow, then that card can be good. But
doesn't even really have 5 Doppels in the deck. But I guess, yeah, you're right. Maybe if it's like the extended age 2, protracted age 2, then it could be a reality.
Yeah, I mean, like, one way to play this matchup is Germany, right? Is to open with 5 Dops and use that to kill the tower and maybe go harass the TP. And if your opponent ends up staying age 2, then I guess that card can be useful. And if the game goes age 3, like, it's unlikely that cavalry hit points is going to really matter anyway. So it kind of makes sense, but
I guess when you think about it, Ulans have got 6 HP, so 10% hit points or 15% hit points. It's not really that much. They go from 6 to 7 HP, so it's not the strongest.
They're just the XP donators.
Yes, they are. But we've got the age ups now going to be coming through. And no surprise, Revnak going to be going for this new build order, opening up with capitalism, the age up coming through. It's going to be the governor. I don't even need to hover over it. I know exactly what it's going to be. And we begin to see him moving over to wood. So he's thinking about going for a second trading post here, which is probably the wise decision.
And I think this is the more common thing to do when you send capitalism as well. So that makes sense. That'll allow him to still send 5 villagers if he wants to. Yeah, I imagine those vills will switch back over to food and gold. Yep, there we go. And he'll just be gathering for that age up.
All right, well, a bit of a delay here on the Explorer coming down, so hopefully that doesn't affect his XP. You'd hate to miss this pass by 5 or 10 seconds because he could have easily been down here. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes for him. Over on the other side, though, we'll check in with Ungers and see exactly what he's up to, as it's going to be a case of just picking up the trading post in transition as well. Obviously, he doesn't have a trading post, so this is going to be his first one on the board, nice and safe in the base. So let's say you're on the quick search ladder, Mitoe. You get this map in quick search, and you're playing in this matchup. Which civ do you prefer to be here?
Well, I'm not known to be very talented with Spain, so I'm going to pick Germany.
All right, I think that's a fair assessment. I would personally prefer to be Spain, just because you've got this beautiful little 2 trade post, trade line, very easy for Stagecoach to come through. Germany, obviously, prefers to avoid, too many trading posts. You don't see them like Spain collecting all the trading posts, playing Pokemon with a trading post. It's not like that with the Germans. They're happy just getting away with their 1 TP. But we'll see exactly how Ungers plays it. It's going to be the Quartermaster for him. 3 settler wagons also coming through. We see the steel traps on the way. Looking to increase that food gathering rate even more. Outpost moving across the map.
Yeah, nothing too surprising so far here. I'm mostly interested to see how aggressively Revnak chooses to play this. Because he could choose to skip 5 vills and go all in, which I still disagree with. Or he could just send 5 vills and and try to, you know, play a little bit of a more macro style. He'll have a little bit more units after a couple minutes, but in the short term, his push will be a little bit weaker. And he's sending, I like that he's sending these villagers so early. Sometimes people neglect to send their villagers early against civs like Germany, and then they never get the opportunity to send them across the map because the Uhlans are out.
Yeah.
But he sent them just in time. You can see the two Uhlans there crossing the ice, and they're not going to be able to catch those villagers anytime soon.
But a nice little pick up here for Unger's going to be able to stop and prevent that. Oh, no, not going to have it. Not today. Not going to be. He's going to be stopping the explorer from being out and about. Obviously, the Spanish love to have their explorer out because they've got the ability to train war dogs. So ideally, you'd love to have it. But the outpost now going to be scouted as well. He spots out the explorer. Age up's in queue for him. We'll take a look and see exactly what we've got coming out. I'm suspecting it's going to be eight pikes. No, it's going to be the scout. So he goes for 4 Huss instead. But now take a look at this beautiful little micro that's coming in. He's got to be careful not to lose these villagers. Unfortunately, taking a few hits here. More Ulan's going to be running in, and he's delaying this barracks. Look at this smart play here from Ungers to delay the barracks because, I mean, realistically, you can delay it, but you and I both know what's coming, Mitoe.
Yeah, it's going to be the 7 Rodal arrows for Revnak behind this. So he's not shipping 5 villagers. He is going to be going all in, but it might pay off for him if he gets these Uhlans. Those Uhlans have really trapped themselves, potentially. Like, the rods could pop out on either side of them.
Seconds before disaster. Seconds before disaster. They all come out. Fortunately, he doesn't get a good surround, though, Mitoe. Look at that. He manages to make it away. Oh, never mind. He gets shot in the back of the head.
1 Uhlan escapes. His friends are left to die.
Indeed.
But he'll live to tell the tale.
All right. Well, both of the villagers are still alive, so he's going to be building a little bit closer. Look at these villagers moving up. Oh, they're just heading on to the gold mine. Never mind. He's building a barracks up there. It's like, yeah, let's get it real deep in there, hey?
Yeah, so this has to be an early 2 Falk push coming out here. He's training the musketeers as well. Just going to make sure those rods are super safe. And yeah, the 4 Hussar age up, and he's going to go right underneath the TC. Unger's is up, but these villagers are a little bit exposed. He's probably going to lose 1.
Yeah, at the very least, it looks like 1 going to be going down. Let's see if he gets the second one. Really looking to try and... Oh my lord, there's a few villagers. There's 2 that go down. Now the third one. Oh, he almost got that one locked in, but not going to have it. Now beginning to focus down the stable. Keep in mind there's a barracks back here as well with the first shipment coming through. It's going to be 3 war wagons. No real surprise there. A very nice shipment to be opening up with. Gives great mobility to chase around these units around the base. We've got a couple of villages on the backside. Gold mine going to get targeted down here. Let's see. Is he able to take any down? A lot of settler wagons in here. It doesn't look like any of them do get taken out. So manages to make it through. But now we hear the falconets, Mitoe.
Ooh, yeah, these war wagons are really good. Good pop though. Like, this is a really nice position for him. He's going to be taking out a lot of these units. Revnak doesn't really have a good way to deal with these.
Yeah, we can see the skirms have come out as well. It's going to be ultra nice for Ungers to hold on. And now looking to try and focus down the units on the backside. Not a whole lot of luck. Got to be careful here just to dodge these volleys. Preferably avoid these volleys from the falconets. Market goes down though. Things not looking good at the moment for Ungers. This is a very powerful push that's come through from Revnak. It seems like he's quite all in here. Can we take a look at we can see the units that he's sent at the bottom of the screen. 7 rods into 2 falcons. Now going into 9 rods as well. That's a lot of shipments. A lot of units.
It is, but... I mean, he has killed a couple vills. He's killing a couple houses. Yeah, this is looking to be a good position for him, but how does he deal with war wagons? If he gets out some more war wagons, it could be trouble.
That's a good point, and he's using the TC as leverage. I think he's going to be looking to focus down the falconets at this point. Actually, is he not focusing the falconets with the TC?
He is.
Oh, he is now. Okay.
They've kind of been switching targets, so they both have a little bit more HP than he would like, rather than one of them being half HP, but it is what it is. 9 Uhlans is the card of choice. That's interesting.
Yeah, big shipment here. We'll take a look and see whether we've got veterancy likely to come through. Probably not really. The macro not looking the best at the moment for veterancy to come through. So going to be a bit tougher, and obviously up against Rodoleros, which have got that really high melee resist. It's going to be always difficult to be getting in those numbers, so probably going to have to try and sack those Ulans and hope that you don't lose too many skirms before the Falconets die.
Yeah,
If Falconets die.
The Ulans seem like a questionable decision to me because he also doesn't have veteran Ulans yet, and he's been losing these houses. He can't really afford to get it. Like, he just shipped 9 colonial units that are completely countered by everything that Revnak's making at the moment, and it's hard to see how he's going to make use of them. He needs to be, like, trying to siege down this tower and this barracks or something, like, right now with these units, while the, you know, these slow-moving Falconets are out of position, but he's just kind of sitting there and eating the Falconet siege.
Yeah, and it's getting tougher and tougher because obviously with every few seconds that goes by, it's another house, another market. He's lost plenty of wood out on the front of his base here.
Couple of vills on the gold mine going down though, up next to the tower.
Yeah, nice little pickup there. Manages to... He's got a pretty decent villager lead at the moment, Unger's does. Up by about 9 villager population, which definitely nothing to sniff at, but take a look back towards the base right now of Revnak. He's under attack once again on the gold mine. A couple of Ulans going down. He does have veterancy coming through now as well, so perhaps not a bad position for him. I think the question is, I would, if we can see 8 Ulans coming out, maybe that's not terrible. It's a lot of Ulans, actually. You know what? It is terrible. There's so many rods out right now.
What he really needs to do right now is just take all of his Ulans and just, like, run across the map. Like, don't be afraid of your opponent's army right now. Like, he's keeping his Ulans back because he's afraid that he might need to use them to fight soon, but if you could just kill the vills on the map. Like, he's got that one Ulan in the middle of the map right now. It's killing some vills back near Revnak's base, and that's huge, but the Falconets, did he manage to kill them?
We'll take a look back at the main base now. How many Falconets have we got back here? It looks like one is remaining. The other one did go down. He gets a nice, decent shot up on the skirms under the TC.
This is a beautiful position.
Gonna continue firing down. Look at the Lancers now as they come out. Beautiful timing here. That outpost on the same screen as the starting town center of his enemy. Absolutely what he wants, and he's looking to try and funnel in more and more units. That Falconet continuing to pummel down the units of his opponent. Unanswered at this point in time. We don't see an explorer, a Spanish explorer. We don't, or rather, we do see the Spanish explorer now coming out. But, I mean, the numbers here not looking the healthiest for Revnak, but at the same time, it looks like Unger's is getting pretty well cleaned up here. You can see he's just losing more and more units. Does he have anything on the way right now? What has he got going for him? What could save the day? Is it a big shipment of Ulans? It is a shipment of Ulans that are coming through. He's got 920 gold. He's done a little bit of market trading. He says, we've got to get more units in queue. Villagers going to be going down, and these are the important ones. The settler wagons, you got to get them out. The Falconet's right under the TC. He could melee this one if he wanted to. Indeed, he does now realize that he can do it. Looks to try and take it out. Not going to be able to do so. Does manage to hit it with the TC. He's holding on a little bit longer, and he's got the Ulans on the way. They're about to pop, and going to be raining on the parade of those skirmishers. Good night, all the Spanish skirms going to be going down here. More Rodoleros going to be coming out to meet them. He falls back away from them. He's got the veterancy through, so that little bit of extra HP will be going a long way. More Huss joining the fray, and geez, what a battle we've got right here, Mitoe.
Yeah, this game is balanced on a nice edge right now. If Ungers can just hold, he has a huge eco lead, but holding is going to be tough.
Yeah, this is really difficult. Villagers going to have to fall back away. Villagers, never mind. They're not going for the TC. They're going for the melee. Getting the blunderbuss out. Hit him with the backside. Look at him go. Just taking names right now. Whew. You wouldn't want to be a skirmisher right now. I mean, you didn't want to be a skirmisher in the last game. It seems like skirmishers just constantly getting destroyed.
And there we go. I think Revnak's out of steam now. I'm calling it right now. I think this game is over for Spain. Like, he had one great fight. The rods were on top of the Ulans, the Lancers on top of the skirmishers, but there's just no follow-up now. Look at the villager count. He's only got 20 vills to 30.
Well, don't have no fear. 8 pikemen are here. That's when you know that things aren't going well with Spain, when you've got nothing left to send in the third age, and you're like, I guess we'll send 8 pikes. Yeah, not the best. All right, well, villager count, or villager pop count rather. Obviously, we've got Germany here with the settler wagons. We've got 30 villager pop up against 21. So, got somebody with, you know, 33% of the villager count. Now, when it comes to military count, he's going to be losing these skirms. This is all of his units on the screen right now. All of the Spanish units.
Oh, the 8 pikes to the rescue.
The 8 pikes did it. The 8 pikes, we were memeing. Well, I was memeing on them. You know, that's when it gets tough. But hey, you know, when the going gets tough, things get rough. And looks like the 8 pikes managed to save the day, but it's not going to be enough as Revnak taps out. And the third game in the series goes over to Ungers. What an absolute game that was. The second series in a row, Mitoe, we're seeing a beautiful game on this map. It seems to attract some of the best action.
Yeah, really aggressive gameplay from Revnak here, but I really was worried for Ungers for a short time there, where he was just losing houses left and right, and he wasn't really being super active with his units, but he just held on. He was patient. He did lose the fight, but he didn't lose his villagers, and that ultimately won him the game.
Yeah, that was exactly it. It was impressive. The way that he held there was really, really good. I like the little counter raids that we had coming through. You mentioned, you know, you wanted to see those Ulans get out across the map, look for villager kills, look for intercepts on any reinforcements, and I mean, that's exactly what we got. All right, well, we'll be jumping into game number 4 very, very soon. Score in favor of Ungers at the moment, up 2-1 in this series. Of course, it is a best of 9. There's plenty of content tonight for you guys, so do not go anywhere. We're going to be jumping into that 4th game very, very soon. Now, Mitoe, you've lost this game. You're in Revnak's shoes. What civ are you going for? What's the main squeeze? And you can't say China.
Well, you know, Revnak's known to be, well, now it's on the screen. It's a Haudenosaunee mirror.
Let's pretend we didn't. Okay, it's a Haudenosaunee mirror. All right, so I'm suspecting that the map that we're going to have with that Haudenosaunee mirror is Pomeranian? I'm assuming, because that seems like a pretty decent map for the Haudenosaunee, right? I don't know if it's going to be that map, though. We'll see if we can grab confirmation on which map it actually is, but that's my suspicion. A great map and a great dog. All right, so I guess game number 4, we know it's going to be a Haudenosaunee mirror. Who does that favor? Does that favor, you know, Unger's the more methodical player? But to be fair, I would argue that Revnak is a very methodical player as well. I would look at the way that Revnak plays. You know, it's rare that he makes mistakes. He sort of looks to prey upon his opponent. At the same time, he's quite greedy, and that can sort of you know, work against him. We saw that in the second game tonight, where he lost his TC as Malta, or at least the TC wagon. Unfortunately, didn't successfully get the TC up. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who this really favors. I think both of these players have had really good success with Haudenosaunee in this tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how they play. I'm not exactly sure like what the current meta is in the Haudenosaunee mirror, but traditionally you rough it out in H2. But if you look at the rush distance on this map, it's potentially pretty far.
We've got a different map. We've actually got Portugal here. And interestingly, we don't see any Portuguese coming out on Portugal. It's just going to be the Haudenosaunee. So interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Actually, hold on a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself right now. I'm introducing the game before you guys can even see it. Don't worry, it's coming in. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 4 in the grand final. Spawning in on the west side of the map, playing in the color blue, as the Haudenosaunee, it's Ungers. And to the north of the map, playing as the Haudenosaunee as well in the color red, it's Revnak. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Portugal. With me this evening, it's the one and only, it's Mitoe. Mitoe, we're into the 4th game now. Who are you favoring for this series so far?
I mean, Ungers has been looking really good in these games. It's tough though. Like Revnak's also really good. I think we need a few more games, or a couple. Like maybe we'll see off this game. We'll see how evenly matched it is, or if Ungers can pull ahead. But I've heard that that Revnak is pretty good at water, and this is a water map, and they are both building docks. So it will be interesting to see if that experience plays into effect here in the mirror, because I'm not really sure what the best way to play this is. Like, do you make one canoe and harass your opponent? Like, do you make more than one canoe? Do you even care if your opponent makes one canoe? I don't know.
These are all valid questions, and questions we will one day find the answer to. But what's interesting is having a look at the deck difference. So we've already got exotic hardwoods out versus the fishing card. So already a little bit of divergence in strategies here. Unger's focusing a little bit more heavily on the land, whereas we see Revnak focusing a bit more heavily on the water. Revnak notorious for his love of water, but at the same time, I guess you could say his quest to improve the strength of water. You know, he's advocated long and hard for the lack of fish in the sea. It seems like this map has got plenty of fish in the sea, though.
Yeah, there's definitely a healthy amount of fish on this map. And, yeah, both players building fishing boats. It looks like Unger's is going to be going for 4 fishing boats. I'm curious to see if Revnak is also going for 4, or if there's a slight difference between the two. Because, you know, if you get a little bit of a faster age up and you choose to go for, like, the 4 Kanya opening or something, that could be pretty good. It looks like it is just going to be 3 fishing boats for Revnak.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go for that 4. We'll take a look over on the other side, though, because it looks like Unger's going to be going for that 4th one, hasn't he? He's got the slightly higher. Yeah, there we go. So gets the 4 out. So that could be the difference. When it comes to these mirror matchups, you know, the key factor here is the greed. You know, greed is good when it comes to mirrors. But hold on a minute. What have we got? Oh, this is just for the gold mine. Never mind. I got a little bit excited there. I said, hold on, we got a war hut coming down. No, we don't. We do not. But I love the little straggler trees around the town center on this map. This feels really good to be taking these. You know, you're not having to walk super duper far to get your villagers over onto the wood line. It's absolutely great. We do have the age ups now coming through. We'll take a look and see what players are electing to go for. The wise woman coming through for Revnak.
And the chief for Unger's, I believe, was what I saw earlier. So that's going to mean the Unger's is going to have more villagers, but maybe a little bit less tempo. The wise woman could mean that Revnak could be up to Fortress Age sooner if they go for that, or maybe you could have some fish or canoes out sooner or something like that. So we'll have to see.
We've seen the first of the TPs coming down as well. Obviously, Haudenosaunee notorious for taking the TPs. They love to get out on the map. Obviously, the more aggressive a civ is, the more control they can assert over these TPs. You've always seen civilizations that favor aggression at the early stages of the game love to take trading posts, and the Haudenosaunee are no exception to that. Now picking up 1 TP each for the players. And it looks like it might be a very heavy commitment here to the second age. So going to be avoiding the Fortress Age for the moment here, Mitoe. Is that something that you would expect?
Yeah, traditionally in the Haudenosaunee mirror, you want to play in the second age, at least for a little while. You want to take map control, you want to try and, you know, secure stagecoach and stuff like that. But again, like, I'm not sure exactly how this works out with the dock start for both players. It could be that Fortress Age is actually the way to play. But both players look like they have their war huts going down in the middle of the map, so we could have a bit of a scuffle soon.
All right, well, it looks like the Travars may end up running into each other, at least a Travar running into a war hut foundation. If he's got the line of sight, we'll ride on board with Revnak and see whether he spotted this one out. He's got the Explorer nearby as well. Doesn't look like he actually did spot it, so ooh, there's nothing spicier than when you got this kind of, you know, 1-2-1-2 of reinforcements being intercepted, and
you've got the bases behind each other. Yeah,
it feels terrible. Game. Yes, it's you know, you want that heads up game, you know, that very straightforward, like, okay, I can think about this and it's very easy for me to do it, but this is where it starts to get a little bit scary. Starts to feel a bit more like a coin flip in these types of matches. You know, you see it a lot in mirror matches. Notoriously, the British matchup is just very coin flip heavy. You know, you might not as well even play that one. Just flip a coin at the start, and and move on to the next game. But yeah, Haudenosaunee the same way here.
Yeah, it looks like both players did open with a canoe. But a little bit of a Kanya fight here. The hyena somehow going to turn it in favor of the Kanyas.
Yes.
The War Chief also providing the hit points aura. That's pretty big. That's a huge loss for Ungers, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is going to put Revnak ahead quite a substantial amount. Now that Explorer going to be coming in, looking to try and get off the crack shot. And not going to be successful, at least not for the moment. But that army, I mean, that's a pretty decent military mass that he's got. But he's going to be on the defensive, and this is the tough part, right? Because his war hut is towards the north, and he's somewhat separated from his base by his enemy's war hut. Now, there's a little bit of wiggle room around towards the top side of this native post. So the question is going to be whether he's going to be able to really find the space to do it, because now we can see that Revnak has turned his attention towards that that position, moving in from the top side. Aina looking to try and get some connections here. We'll see how the Explorer does and whether he's going to be able to get off that crack shot. There he goes, down onto one knee. Takes a nice little blast over there on the other side. Manages to dish out some damage, but beautiful concave coming in from Revnak. He's looking strong in this fourth game already. Things are really heating up. This is, oh yeah, true. Yeah, we got something you see every day. Yeah, look at that. We got the hyena flank coming in. Tomahawks still throwing out their tomahawks.
Oh, those tomahawks on Ungers, like just walking around the gold mine. That's not where you need them.
Oh, geez, I'm having flashbacks to a certain flying crow. But numbers looking very good right now for Revnak. He's pushing quite far ahead in this military count. Still got his Explorer alive, providing that aura. He's going to look to try and take out a couple more units, but this is where it starts to get very dicey. Villager count starting to pull ahead as well for Revnak. Each villager that goes down from here makes it even more difficult for Ungers to get back into the game. Explorer going to finally go down. Mitoe, it's not looking good.
In queue, though. There's Kanya in queue for Ungers. There's no anti-cav out for Revnak just yet. And they're getting so deep into the base here, they could actually get punished. They've spotted the stable now. They're going to be trying to escape, I think. But they're going to pop out just in time. The Yin is super speedy, though, and Tomahawk's coming behind. I think Revnak's escaped.
Oh, that block was unfortunate timing, but the Tomahawks did come in for Revnak, and now Villager's going to be going down. Down goes one. Villager count still starting to build up that difference. About 3 at the moment. Revnak still ahead. TC firing off towards those Tomahawks. Tomahawks should ideally avoid sieging right now. You lose those Tomahawks, you lose all your anycab, but more Tomahawks continue coming in for Revnak. All right, for the moment, but he keeps pushing through with the Aina. He's looking for units to try and pick off. Only the Kanya horsemen chilling out for the moment. This is such a tough position to hold for Ungers.
Man, behind this, look at the economy counts. Look at the fish. Revnak's been adding fishing boats the entire time that this has been going on.
He's looking very good, very strong. He's up 6 villages now, and that's going to continue building up. Nice little crack shot. And he's just to take out the single Tomahawk. But now he looks to come through. Oh, there's the next crack shot. Boom. Comes in, but loses the Explorer. It's a big loss. Do you really want to throw that away? 100 XP over towards your enemy?
Yeah, I'm not sure that one was worth it. That's a lot of power on your army that's been lost there. He needs a fire pit to get that back up, but he really can't afford it. He can't afford neither the resources to build it nor the time to dance for it.
Sorry, we couldn't find anything on fire pit. Did you mean community
plaza? I'm sorry. I've messed up.
Well, Mitoe. It seems like both of us.
At least mine was in the right game.
That's true. That's true. Kanya Horseman coming in now for Revnak. He's trying to finish this game out. There's plenty of Kanya Horsemen out for his enemy, but at the same time, the Tomahawks got to be more than enough to keep them at bay, or will they? As the tides begin to turn now. Tomahawks coming in from the north side as well, but things not looking good at the moment for Unger. Unger's more and more. Kanya coming in. Hold on a minute. Hold your horses, because quite literally the horses cannot be held back right now. Looking to try and chase down these Aina. There's so many Aina here, but he doesn't even bother heading out there. He could clean this up completely, I feel.
Well, the Tomahawks are out now, and the war hut. It's hard to fight under a war hut when you have so few units. And yeah, this is looking like a commanding lead for Revnak, and there's the resignation from Ungers.
Coming in strong in the 4th game, Revnak looking good. Hits back. clapping with that 2-2. Beautiful stuff. Exactly what we wanted to see. We are taking this one all the way down the line. Have a look at that Vilpop. Revnak, remember to make villages this game, that's for sure.
Yeah, that first fight with the four Kanyas against the four Kanyas just went totally in favor of Revnak. He had the War Chief nearby for the hit points. He had the 5 Hyena come in to reinforce. And yeah, that kind of snowballed into a huge lead for him in the middle of the map. Ungers couldn't defend his front base. Actually, I'm not even sure if the War Hut died, did it? Or did he just keep pressuring the main base and just ignored the War Hut?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just was pressuring the main base, and then I felt like he was kind of using it as a way to like pull the army apart. You could see that he was doing a pretty decent job of that, so very smart there. But essentially, just made that War Hut useless, and the consequence of I mean, just being a bit more aggressive there, wasn't it?
It's that annoying situation where you have a War Hut, but the positioning is just so bad that if you use it, it's likely going to hurt you more than it helps you.
Correct, yes. All right, we'll be diving into game number 5 very soon. Don't go anywhere. Games will be starting very, very quickly. We're not going to be waiting around here for players. We're not giving them any breaks. They're getting straight into the games. They're going to start clashing button heads with each other. All right, well, Revnak's evened up the series, Mitoe, so we are now at Hump Game, aka it's kind of like Wednesday, except for video games. So we've made it to the middle, game number 5. So essentially, take your best of 9, cross that out, and now you got a best of 5. Everybody starts again. There's a few civs you can play, a few civs you can't play, but it looks like players have elected to play similar civilizations to what we've seen before tonight.
Ooh,
it's going to be the Germans for Revnak and the Spanish for Ungers.
That'll be interesting.
We've seen this matchup before. We saw it on that snow map, Cool Land, before.
I'm curious to see if Ungers chooses to go for as aggressive a strategy as Revnak did. I have to say it. Revnak didn't send 5 Vils, and he lost. Why do people not send 5 Vils? I bet you if Ungers sends 5 Vils, he'll win this game.
I don't think you've worked it out yet, but the meta is that capitalism is just simply better than 5 Vils, because capitalism is, well, let's just put it this way, limitless growth. We exploit everything, exploit resources, exploit people, exploit absolutely every resource that we can, and that way we have infinite growth, and there's nothing that can go wrong with that kind of system.
Okay, Drongo, okay. But why not have both?
That's true. We could also look. Then we'd have to pay the settlers. Look, it's complicated. I'll be honest.
That's true. You don't want to pay
unionize
them,
and oh god, it goes downhill from there. Then they're gonna be asking for food.
You don't want that. That's for sure.
Definitely not. Think we can? What do you think this is? Gonna be telling us that the children can't work in the mines any day now.
Oh no, anything but that.
All right, well, game number 5 going to be coming up for you guys shortly. Don't go anywhere. We're still here. We're trying to keep you guys entertained in the downtime. It doesn't look like anybody's donated recently, so I guess, Mitoe, we're just going to have to avoid calling out anybody for the moment. I assure you, our observer at the moment, Joshua, he is looking for that game. He's just not finding it. That's all. That's the thing. We're looking for the game. We just can't find it. So we're just chilling out for the moment. You pay the settlers 100 food for a lifetime contract. Now that is a contract I could get behind. All right, game is up. The map is Finland. Interesting. Hold on. Surely it's not Finland. It's a giant water map. Oh, actually, maybe the trading post. Yeah, it's a really good. Both of these civs are very good with TPs, aren't
they? They are. But I wonder if I recall correctly, on this map, if you get Stagecoach, it actually affects both the water route and the land route.
I believe you are correct, yes. So you're, I mean, if you're playing as Spain here, we'll talk a little bit about that because, ladies and gentlemen, any second now. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 5. This is Hump game of your best of 9 series. You can cut the first 4 games out, pretend they never happened. We've reset everything. It's a best of 5 now. And, well, welcome to the first game, well, the 5th game in the series here between Revnak and Unger, spawning in on the south side of the map in the color blue, playing as the Spanish. It's Ungers. And on the north side of the map in the color red, playing as the Germans. We've got Revnak. All right, Mitoe, we saw this matchup a little bit earlier in this evening, 2 games ago. Well, now they're bringing it out once again for us to enjoy. We start to see trading posts being taken. Now, there's an interesting mechanic on this map that occurs for the trade routes. Now, we've obviously got 1, 2, 3 trade routes. We can see there's 2 ocean trade routes and a trade route in the middle with 2 TPs on it. But I believe if you upgrade a single trading line or single trading post anywhere on this map, you can upgrade all 3 lines together.
Yeah, and it looks like we do have ATP from Ungers. No capitalism in the deck. So we are probably going to see that. He could try to take well, I'm not sure if you can get the 4th TP. It might be too close to the town center. That one's cutting it close. But even if you get 3 TPs, that's a pretty good situation for Spain.
Yeah, you'd be happy with that, definitely. And it seems like we may have ATP coming through. The deck name is 1v1 Pons, and ATP exists in the deck. Now, let's take a look at this Spanish deck, and I'm curious what you think about this one, Mitoe, because we've got some interesting cards in here. I say interesting, there's nothing too crazy in here. I mean, the craziest thing you've got in here is, like, Colonial Militia. Sorry, it's not Colonial Militia anymore, is it? It's
Town Militia.
Town Militia. My mistake.
How dare you?
I couldn't. I'm sorry. But we do indeed have ATP coming through, so it's going to be a slightly faster TP here for Ungers. I like this opening. I think this is super smart. I find it also interesting that neither player has opted for a water sieve or a water deck. I mean, Spain, technically, you can orientate towards water if you so choose. And actually, I take that back. We see Revnak going for the classic 2 caravels, 1 frigate, and he's also got that plus 25% HP damage card in H2.
Yeah, nothing too crazy from either player. I'm not even sure if these warships are going to come into play on this map. Like, neither player is set up to water boom. They can control the TPs, I guess, but they're not really close enough to control the hunts or the mines or even the trees near the coastline. So both players just taking them as a precaution, but likely not going to come into play.
We did see you also had another interesting card in the deck, not something that you see every day, Advanced Artillery. So in the Definitive Edition, this card was changed up a little bit. Used to provide, or used to be in the Industrial Age, and used to provide your upgrades for all of your artillery. You'd get your Falconet, it would go to your Field Gun, your Culverin would go to the Culverin Royale. But they switched things up in the Definitive Edition, and they made it so that this card unlocks in the 3rd Age access to your mortar as well as your horse artillery. So there is the potential that we might see those Age 3 mortars out, but I suspect there's not going to be much water today.
I'm going to be honest, I completely missed that was in the deck.
Oh yeah, very, very important card to be paying attention to.
But I can't see how that's going to be useful, though, in this matchup.
I suspect Revnak thought that Ungers might be going for a bit, I don't know whether it's still popular, Logistician on the water for Spain. You know, the classic 300 wood, 300 wood.
Yeah,
opening.
I could see it being useful there, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the idea is you want to get mortars out to deal with the range of the units.
The thing is, though, if you're playing this matchup as Germany, you get your shipment faster as Spain, and you get your shipment slower as Germany. You can wait to see your opponent's deck before you commit to that. Maybe a slight mistake on Revnak's part.
Perhaps he jumped the shark. We'll have to see how it plays out for him, though. But yeah, I've got to agree with you. It seems like something that would have been an easy decision to make. But now it looks like we've got no capitalism coming through today. Obviously, no capitalism in the deck, instead going for that ATP, but plenty of shipments here as he picks up the 3rd TP. It's going to be a classic 700 gold, 700 wood opening here, but a bit of a delay on that age up. So it's going to take some time before he actually gets through to the third age. Remember, the slower it is for your second age to come through, the slower it's going to be for your third age.
There's going to be a barracks coming out for Revnak already, so might be looking to build some Doppelsoldners and apply some pressure to these ATPs, or maybe even the forward tower if Unger elects to go for that, which he will. And yeah, there we go. First Doppelsoldner in queue.
Interesting. So Doppel going to be the way that he goes here. So obviously going to be looking to siege down these TPs. ATP notorious for their annoying little attack. The range for units to siege down buildings is 6, and the ATP get a range of 8. So just enough to protect themselves, with the exception of English longbows. Once they've got that new card that's been added.
Yeah, I can't recall the name of that card, but that would be one of the few units that could siege it down, along with Grenadiers.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the Grenadier. All right. Well, we've got the age 3 coming through now. So it's going to be clicking up around, what was it, about 550. So pretty late on the age up. I guess typically you see it around, what, 520, 530 most games these days. But just going to be moving around the base with the Ulans for the moment. Out towards the middle of the map. It looks like he's going to be heading towards that trading post. We'll have to double check and see how much he's got out there. Yeah, 4 Doppels going to be coming out. He's going to be most likely moving one of those Doppels into cover mode just while it's being attacked. And it becomes a little mini game that you can play here where once a unit moves into cover mode, then you've got to start targeting another one next to it. And then you've got to take that unit off cover mode and then put the one next to it that's being focused down onto cover mode.
And next thing you know, you've focused so much on this mini game that you're stacking 1,200 gold and 300 food, and you can't age.
That is oddly specific, Mitoe. Would you like to share your?
No,
would you like to share your experiences?
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Nope, no, it's fine.
Well, Mitoe, a good sign is that we're seeing 5 villages coming through for Unger. Something that you've talked about throughout the day is that Spanish players were lacking this shipment. We didn't see it, I don't think, once. We saw Spain, I think, 3 times in 3 separate games, and we didn't see it come out once. But it looks like today, 5 villages will be coming out for our Spanish player.
I'm telling you, it's a good card. 5 villas is a good card.
It is good, but have you heard of 3 settler wagons? Because I'll guess you may not have.
Okay, 3 settler wagons with 2 Ulans it might be better than 5 bills. You might be on to something there.
It's a crazy good card, isn't it? When you think about it like that, it's like, damn, that's good, huh? Like that is insanely good. Like not only are you getting 6 villages, but you also get 2 cav units for free. Sure, I'll take it. Well, our first shipment in the third age is going to be coming through. I'm assuming this looks like Spanish gold to me. We're just going to double check that though. Yeah, indeed it is Spanish gold coming through. Does this still provide 400 gold, or has it been nerfed down to 350?
It's 300, I think.
Oh, it's 300 now. Damn. Oh, I guess indeed they were asking the question how you fit in them jeans, and they had to nerf it because it was indeed struggling to fit in those jeans.
Yeah, so you now need to send 3 additional shipments after Spanish gold to receive more than 1,000 gold. But I mean, as Spain, that's not a big problem. It's still a decent card for them. It's definitely more situational than it was before. But can't complain. In this situation, you've got lots of TPs, you got lots of XP coming in, and you don't really have a forward base set up to apply any pressure. So makes sense to go with Spanish gold, I think.
I think this kind of plays into the way that Revnak is currently assuming his position. Take a look at Revnak's base. Walling up like an absolute madman.
What a classic Revnak move.
I've never seen him do this before. Except for every other game that I've watched Revnak play. This is a classic Revnak move. So what do you think the theory is behind this? Is he just going for a full skirm war wagon composition and he just is giving himself a little bit of extra length in here?
I think he might be overreacting to what isn't happening. He didn't see a forward tower. Why does he need 3 layers of walls?
Because they're very affordable. Costs
true.
5,
yeah, that's true.
5 wood for each of them. But look at the response coming out from Ungers. This is literally the perfect response. You couldn't ask for a better response than this. He went ATP. He went 5 villages. Spanish gold into 1,000 wood. Literally the most greedy response possible. You couldn't have gone greedier than this. That's exactly what he wants.
Yep, that is Yeah, as you said, that's the perfect response. He's going to be able to get Stagecoach as well, potentially, on these 3 TPs. You know, I think that they have a bit of a mix-up in their decks. I think that Advanced Artillery card was supposed to be in Unger's deck.
Yes, it could have indeed. He may, you know, I suspect Mortars may be very handy in the 3rd age up against somebody like Revnak. He is notorious for getting those early bastions out. But yeah, for the moment, it looks like Unger's going to be focusing on getting Rodoleros out. So going to be sending through a shipment of them as well as training them up. So going to be a little bit defensive. Obviously got Ulans running through the base. Need to deal with them appropriately. Rodolero's the perfect unit, able to keep up with them just barely. All right, well, the Ulans look like they might get caught. Indeed, I suspect they've gone to a...
What is going on up there? They're just 5 skirmishers raiding by themselves?
I did see that, yeah. All right, well, the military number's starting to look pretty decent right now for Revnak. He's got quite the force coming out here, but he's still quite scared, I feel.
Yeah, I think Spain, though, like, you look at these military numbers, and yeah, they're in favor of Germany for now, but then you look at how many resources Unger's has been floating, and, like, he's going to catch up pretty quick with this extra shipment coming in.
Yeah. Interesting that he goes for the Rodoleros as well. I would have suspected 2 Falcons. I guess up against Germany, 2 Falcons is always a little bit... You got to be so careful with 2 Falcons, because one wrong move and that's it, they're gone. And I mean, even you do 17 right moves and they're still going to go down to the war wagons, you know? So it's one of those scary things where it's, yeah, you know, maybe it's best just to keep it in the back pocket, and that's what he does. Did he have the option to throw down Rodolero combat here?
Yeah, I think it was actually an option for him, but he opted not to do it. A little bit of a raid coming in on Unger's base back at home. Might be losing a vill or 2.
Ooh, Zulan's just getting work done. Look at that. Villager number 1 goes down. Villager 2, sign me up. Indeed, she does go down. 2 villagers. Not too bad for the price of 1.
Nope, definitely can't complain.
All right, well, the villager count at the moment still in favor of Revnak. He's managed to keep it ahead despite shipping the 1,000 wood. I just realized we haven't actually seen a second TC come out. What did he spend all that wood on, Mitoe?
He rebuilt the town center. He built a second barracks. I think he got veteran Rodolero and some houses and some market upgrades. There's lots to spend wood on. But, yeah, I mean, we look at this villager count, and it is slightly in favor of Revnak at the moment, but we do have to keep in mind that there are 3 trading posts out here for Unger, so that's 2 more than Germany, and he also has Spanish gold, so even though the economy looks slightly in favor of Germany, it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, definitely the case. There's a lot working right now for Spain behind the scenes. It's that classic, well, it's not exactly what it seems. 5 war dogs coming out, looking to take a bite of a horse, but unfortunately, actually, now that I think about it, that's a pretty decent meal for the dogs. Dog food's got a
I don't think they'd be unhappy about that.
Yeah, dog food's got a pretty high concentration of horse meat, if I remember correctly. I digress. Now the forces for Unger's moving out here. I can't help but feel like as this game goes on, Spain is just looking stronger and stronger. The forces here for him obviously looking pretty decent. The rod numbers looking very good. Obviously going to be working as this sort of double-edged sword, or even triple-edged sword, you could argue, in that they are very effective against the Ulans because they've got 40% melee resist. Obviously do incredibly well against cavalry. And then on top of that, do very well against war wagons because, well, they counter them. And then on top of that, I mean, triple-edged sword, something that you very rarely see. It's the triangular sword of triangles. What's it called? What was the... Remember the thing from 4chan that everyone would do and you couldn't do it if you weren't cool? Come on, Mitoe, you know this one. Triforce. It's the classic Triforce. They're very good against skirmishers as well.
Oh, there could be a really big raid back in Unger's base. That looks like a lot of exposed villagers.
Oh, that's
my
huge.
God.
Oh, that's massive. Oh, this could be game turning right here. Unger's was looking very potent, very strong. Those Ulans are just Oh, they're taking names. Look at this damage coming through. Villager count just falling down to the ground at the same time. We've got a bit of a push back over towards the opposite side of the base. We'll have a look and see how he's going. He's got the military slowly but steadily getting in there. Look at the Falcons trying to jam him in. Not having a whole lot of luck, unable to find too much just yet. But those war wagons posturing. So many villagers going down right now. Unger's dropping underneath 30 villagers. Still losing villagers as he drops down to 28. Oh, gosh. Things not looking good for him right now. This is going to be very tough. We'll take a very quick look at the villager count and just see. Oh, Lord. 37 down to 28. Not a good spot. Not a good spot.
No, that was a devastating raid for sure. It's situations like that where you're like, I want the extra few Rotoleros with my army, so I have a strong push. You're like, what are the odds he's gonna raid my 15 villagers on this hunt, right? It's not very high, and then you lose 10 vills, and you're like, well, I regret that.
I regret that a massive amount, because now I've got no economy. Well, this really becomes it. I mean, to be fair, he's still got a pretty decent economy behind this, right? Like we've got double TP stagecoach compared to single TP stagecoach, but we've also got Spanish gold, so that's the big factor. Slowly and steadily he pushes towards the base of the German player and looks to begin focusing on that infrastructure. Are we able to take a look at the health there on his these falconets and see how close they are to death? First falconet sitting at about what is it, about 170? It looks like it's being focused down by the TC at the moment. Indeed it is, 130. There you go. And second looking pretty close to full.
Oh, the war wagons though, they might get a good shot here.
Yeah, big shot. First one goes down. Good night, sweet prince. Skirm's getting off a good focus in response, and they look to try and take down the Falcon on the backside. Not going to be successful. The one Falconet remains, and he's looking for a shot. You just know he wants a volley on that back line, and he's posturing. He could find it here. Skirm's going to be coming up against each other. Skirm v Skirm action. You love to see it. Looks like we've got some Jaegers here mixed in as well for the German player, so don't underestimate that mass, and make sure you focus the Jaegers. That's the key factor. Town Center does. Oh my lord, another raid coming in. Ungers, don't do him like this.
Thankfully, he did catch that one. The rods were in position. But yeah, the villager count is still 12 vill lead for Revnak. But I mean, look at the resources on the map though. Like all of Revnak's vills are super exposed. If he makes one wrong move, he could lose a fight and lose all his vills. But the rods, what are they doing? They're running into the skirms.
Classic rod maneuver. This is the exact same thing. You know, we saw this earlier this evening. And it's been a constant theme this evening. You know, the units running into the enemy army, just, I guess, not doing what they were told. But I guess the question is, at this point in time, is Unger's going to be able to keep his head above water? Skirms looking to tee off against each other. At the same time, we see a nice volley there on the backside. The double fout coming out, finding huge volleys up against those skirmishers. Very nice and unexpected there from Revnak, pulling out that one. And now all of a sudden things are going to start to turn for the worse, as we've got the Uhlans that are out, looking to try and snare, potentially get behind enemy lines and pull out some more villager hairs, I suspect. All right, well, a little bit of a score build-up. Take a look at that. 4K score difference here between these two. Revnak has pulled ahead in this game. Keep in mind, this is the grand finals, baby. This is a best of 9, so we've still got plenty of games ahead of us. But we've essentially reset at this point. We're in hump game, the middle game, the central game, the 5th game in the series. So it's quite a pivotal game. If you can win this one, there's a potential that you can carry through momentum into that next game. So especially one where Ungers did seem like he was quite ahead. He made all the right decisions in the early game.
Yeah, look at this raid here. Ungers has his rods in position this time. He's not going to make the same mistake. But the Uhlans do sneak past, and they could actually just turn and fight those rods. There's no other Rotoleros nearby. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on in the middle of the map.
Yeah, there we go. The Culves getting off some decent shots. Skirm still standing, holding on strong. Rod numbers looking hefty at this point, but there's just not a lot of Uhlans out. With the exception of the Uhlans that are killing the villagers right now, things once again not looking good for Ungers. Oh my lord. Look at the villager count right now. You're talking 28 villager pop, 27 villager pop. I mean, we'll count it all the way down if you like. Versus 26, there you go. Versus 49 on the other side. Things not looking good right now for Ungers. And as the longer this game goes on, the worse it gets. Oh my lord, look at that score really starting to push out now.
Yeah, Revnak taking a pretty sizable lead now. The army is still decent, though. He does have to win the fight in order to win the game.
Let's see how he does. He's got 3 calves. He can't help but feel like it might be a little bit of overkill there with the calves. Does get a shot off on the backside. I can't see if there's any Falcons left. There's so many war wagons in there. I suspect at this point the calves have done their job. Now they're just left here to sort of rot, and indeed they do go down. War Wagon's just going to eat them alive, completely devouring them. And now those skirmishers are going to be looking to try and push in and punish a bit. Managing to take out a Lancer or two, but the army here for Revnak looking certainly very healthy. And I think Germany's reached its critical mass, and Unger's going to be very difficult to overcome this mass now.
Yeah, this is tough. The skirmishers reigning supreme for Revnak now. There's a lot of Lancers out now, though, with a couple Hussars mixed in, the rods. He's going to try and smash everything in. This is going to be his one chance.
And this is exactly what he wants to do, but the Black Riders have come out, and it might be just in time. The classic mercenary we love to see from Age of Empires 3. It's the Black Riders, the Hussars, as well as the Lancers looking to try and take out the majority of the skirmishers, but the Micro keeps coming back. The Kiting's beautiful. War Wagons surviving with their hefty hit points. And all of the military right now for Unger is going to be dropping down. Beautiful Micro coming out here from Revnak. And it's looking like it might be a good game right now because more villages are getting cleaned up, and indeed it is. Game number 5 going over to Revnak.
GG to Revnak. Yeah, it was really the raids that did Unger's in that game.
Yeah, those raids were absolutely insane. All right, well, I'll be honest with you, Mitoe. I've just heard out of my right ear that there is a certain baby that is crying. So I'm going to be right back in just maybe 60 seconds to 90 seconds. I'm going to let you keep chat. I'll let you keep chat busy for the moment because, well, I'm just going to go give him a little good morning kiss. It's 6 a.m. over here.
All good. Yeah, that villager timeline, just absolutely crazy amount of vills he lost in those 2 raids. That first one was really what killed him. That was just too many vills to lose. He couldn't replace his units easily enough after that. And even though he had a solid push going on the front, it just wasn't enough. So that puts Revnak at a 3-2 lead now. After starting 1-2, he's won the last 2 games. So looking strong. It's still pretty close. Potentially another 4 games to go. Are you guys excited for another 4 games? I think it's like 6 a.m. for Drongo or something like that, and he's still casting. I don't know how he does it, but we will keep going until the final game. So Unger still has to play Malta. Yeah, there we go. He's picked Malta now. And Portuguese coming out for Revnak. That's a classic civ for him. No surprise there that he'd play one of his main civs for the 10 plus years that he's been playing AoE 3. Definitely a civilization he's super comfortable with. And I'm not sure how this matchup goes for Malta. Malta loves the slower games, the scale and stuff like that, but so does Portugal.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back. How's the baby?
Baby is doing good. I'm my current service is nappy patrol or diaper patrol. So I was just, I was just doing my thing, just putting the diapers in the diaper bin. But yes, the baby is good. Yeah, he had a nice little sleep. Let me check and see how long he slept for. He's getting there. He's 8 weeks old at the moment. He slept for 6 hours and 46 minutes. That's not too bad. Not a bad little sleep.
Nice. What time is it there now? Is it like 6 a.m., 7 a.m.?
6 a.m. Yeah, 6 a.m.
How are you holding up?
Honestly, quite well. Yeah, he's I'm really lucky. He's essentially what's known as like a unicorn baby. He's sleeping regularly 7 hours, 8 hours every single night. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen? Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just gonna say, apparently they're not all like this because I'm like, what is everybody saying? This is easy, and then it's like, well, no, it's not like that apparently. So yeah.
Yeah, I have some friends who are woken up at least every 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's pretty scary, especially the early weeks. I mean, you got to wake him up to feed him, but yeah, he's a little chonker now. He's put on the weight just like Dad, and yeah, he's nice and healthy. But speaking of healthy, I mean Revnak with the Portuguese. Let's talk about healthy. Hey, that's a solid sieve going into game number 6.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup because both Malta and Portuguese, they want to scale into the late game, right? But I'm not sure which one is better. I feel like Portugal, though, they can apply a little bit more pressure earlier in the game. They have a more comfortable time hitting Fortress Age. I swear I didn't almost say Castle Age. Um,
Every
and
single time I've gone to say it, I've been like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like third age, and then I'll I'll do the exact same thing. I'll be like, it'll come out because obviously, I mean, like there's no hiding it. You know, I've obviously been playing Age of Empires 4 a lot over the last year or so. Age of Empires 3 has been on the back burner, but yeah, it's very hard to change the brain, isn't it, Mitoe?
it is, it catches you.
It does, yes. All right. Well, we'll be moving into game number 6 shortly. We're looking for it at the moment. Our observer, Josh, he's holding it down, just refreshing. Imagine if there was like an auto refresh function. We should ask Inter. Refresh every. You just do it on like cooldown, right? Like 1 second refreshes. That'd be sick. Yeah, it should just be always refreshed. Yeah, that would work. Oh, my lord. All right. Big shout out to Killian McKee, who tips $5 and says, say my name, Drongo. Well, Killian McKee, there you go, buddy. That's a good name. Killian McKee. Killian McKee. There you go, mate. I got you, man. All right. Well, here we go. I can see it. I see the map. I see Unger's in the lobby. I can hear Breeze beginning the preparations for his Portuguese laming. Was the map Scandinavia? Was that crazy? Did I see that right? Scandinavia?
It is Scandinavia, yeah.
Yeah, so on Scandinavia, yeah, Breeze definitely going to be having a party over here. I mean, how do you deal with ports on Scandinavia? I mean, this just looks like their perfect map, right? I guess it's a lot less linear than your typical maps where ports are quite good. You know, they love that sort of Carolina, California sort of coastline. I guess similar to like Wallachia, that type of map, or Pomerania. Finland, another good map for them. Danish Straits. There's a lot of good port maps, actually.
Any map with water is a good port map.
It depends who you're talking to. It depends who you're talking to, Mito. I got a good feeling Breeze would have something different to say about that.
Probably. I imagine that a map like Texas has water, but it's probably not very good for ports. Or Yukon, there you go.
That's true. So, hey, I've played plenty of Yukon where you get the frigates out. You know, that's always good fun.
Did you ever play with Nayuki on the old RE patch ladder?
I don't think so. Nayuki. The Japanese community was massive, but yeah, I don't remember him.
So he was a player who played mostly Brits, and he would send stuff like the faster manor building card, and he would go water. But the crazy thing about him was that if the map had water, it didn't matter if it had fish or not. You know, forget all these fish in the sea memes. If the map has water, he's gonna build a monitor on it, and he's gonna upgrade it, and then he's gonna build frigates, and he's just gonna drive you crazy, sitting there with these insane warships on Yukon, on Texas, on like just these random pawns on Great Plains. It was something else.
That sounds like quite the game.
It was actually really annoying and hard to beat sometimes.
All right, well, we're going to be diving into game number 6 very, very shortly. So if you've gone somewhere, well, Unfortunately, you're not hearing this voice anymore. But as we do move into game number 6, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 6. We are here on Scandinavia for this 6th game. Currently in the series, Revnak is up 3-2 against Ungers. And Revnak is also spawning in on the south side of the map, playing in the color red as the Portuguese. On the north side of the map, we've got Ungers, who's playing in the blue as the Maltese. Mitoe, how are you feeling about this matchup? How are you feeling about this map? What are you expecting to see today? I don't know about you, but I'm expecting to see a lot of boats on that water.
I would be very surprised if we didn't see a dock from Revnak. And to be honest, I'm feeling pretty good about Portuguese here. I mean, that being said, we did see Malta actually win a game earlier. But I'm struggling. I guess I don't know what options Malta has available to them when it comes to water. They're a very slow civ already, and they probably have a hard time punishing water, I would suspect. But I don't know, maybe you can just construct a fixed gun on the coastline and then it's all good.
That's what I would like to see, a fixed gun on the coastline. How do you approach that? I guess the same way you always do. You just bring a couple culverins to the fight. We'll take a look at the decks we've got here for Ungers. This deck called I Don't Know. He's got 2 galleys, and that's pretty much it. Not a huge water presence. We do also see Morgan's flagship is in there. And heavy fortifications, another option that he's going to have. Of course, that fixed gun is in the deck, so watch out for it. It may be on the way. And of course, the Zebek in the 3rd age as well. Gonna pay a little bit for it. We'll check in over on Revnak's side and see what his deck's looking like. I'm feeling disgusted. How many age 1 cards you reckon are going to be in this deck? I'm gonna go with 6.
Oh, I think you're wrong.
I think I'm wrong as well. It's only going to be 4. So we don't get the super lame version here. Just the standard Portuguese lame version, it seems.
Yeah, a pretty well-rounded deck for a water deck. I've seen some crazy water decks, but this one's not too out there. It's got, you know, the standard eco cards, it's got your warships, but it's also got some military shipments for the land. There's 8 crossbows, the 8 Cassadors, 5 dragoons.
This is a really safe deck. I like this deck a lot, and it's very flexible. You can do a lot of stuff with this. You can play water, you can play land, you can play H2 heavy crossbow, you can play H2 semi-FF, you can play just straight FF. You can go fast industrial if you want. You can hang around in the Fortress Age for a fair amount of time as well. So yeah, I got to agree with you. I think it's very non-committal.
Yep, definitely a deck that just leaves your options open. You're not going to get caught with your pants down because you don't have like 4 Mamelukes in your deck or something, and you're stacking 1,000 gold because you have like 1,000,000 fishing boats on whales. But
once again, oddly specific.
Okay, leave me alone. But you know, something that just occurred to me with Malta is they get 2% hit points on every unit with every shipment, and on water maps, you know, your boats have a lot of hit points, and I think that could actually be pretty useful.
I think that's a fair assessment. I'm happy to take that one and agree with that. When you're running 3,000 point units and 2% on that, and obviously you stack that up over 10 shipments or so, that's 20% health, 3,600. It could be the difference between life and death for that boat, and if it makes it back to the dock, it may potentially heal up all the way. You got yourself a decent little unit. But we do have the first dock of the game coming down. It's no surprise here. It's going to be for Revnak here on the south shore. I don't know about you, but it kind of looks like there's a few more fish in the sea on the south side. Maybe I'm just seeing things over here compared to the north side. Maybe.
I think you're seeing things. I think that's roughly equal.
All right. I will allow it. But the villagers now just going to be chilling out on the coastline as well. We might see a second dock over here. It's likely. Town center going to be moving out towards this position as well as we see it drop down right next to the dock. Nice little safe spot back here. Early age up for him. Oh, I say early age up, 4 minutes 20. Not the earliest of age ups, actually, for ports.
Yeah, no surprises there. Looks like this commandery for Ungers, he's going to try and put it as close to the coastline as possible. Breeze trying to stall that as much as he can with this annoying explorer snare, but I think it'll get there just fine. Unless there's like 2 caravels or something crazy on the way, but surely not.
Yeah,
Right?
I can't imagine him going for that. It's going to be the 700 wood, followed by... Is that 8 crossbows? Oh,
That's
no, it's a rendering plant. Yeah, rendering plant coming through. Yeah, rendering plant, obviously a great shipment. It's still 30%, I'm assuming, so yeah, beautiful. And we do have pikes now coming out from a barracks. Looking to apply some pressure here early on.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff from Portuguese here. Well, maybe the pikes aren't as standard. Maybe you'd like to see a second dock on the other side of the map or something, but I think the pikes are reasonable. They're going to try and maybe do a little bit of damage to that commandery, or maybe go around and defend or attack the trading post on the other side.
Did somebody say second dock on the other side of the map?
I did, and there is. Oh,
there you go. We've got the
pikes
second
and
dock.
the second dock.
Yeah, why not? Why not do both? Pikes now, probably going to be moving towards that commandery very, very shortly. Indeed they are.
Yep, move to the explorer in first to tank a little bit of damage. But Unger's paying attention, switches as soon as possible to attacking those pikemen, so good on him.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we see... Oh, cover mode just coming in now. You can see the lack of damage. He's trying his best to take out that pikeman. Does eventually get it. Explorer going to start up the snare. Exactly what you want to do, get that extra little bit of health. But it looks like he will be successful here in taking out this forward location. Now we hear the fishing boats coming in behind. He's going straight into 700 gold. It doesn't really feel like he's met those targets yet for his fishing goals. You know, you'd expect him to be a little bit further ahead from where he is. 31 villagers at the moment for him, compared to 30 for Unger, so not too bad. Crossbows, looking to pick up the Explorer. Going to be successful here. Maltese Explorer does survive, despite what appeared to be an unwinnable situation just a few seconds ago. But unfortunate timing here from Unger's. Just a few seconds earlier, he should have been able to pick up all of these units at the very least and save that. But yeah, doesn't get it here. And look at these beautiful graphics that we've got here, where the units are walking across the foliage and leaving their tracks behind. It's just... It's marvelous.
Yeah, it's definitely very nice, especially on this map, with the nice contrast with the snow.
That's exactly it. All right, well, at the moment, I mean, it doesn't seem to be too much going on. There's a slight push out with crossbows as well as those pikes trying their best to stay alive, salvage as what little that they've got. But we're going to have the castle roll. Oh, I take it back. The fortress age coming through. And, oh, my lord.
Whoa. Well, you caught yourself halfway through it. Yeah, almost acceptable.
Acceptable. It's a 5-hour cast, and it's 6 a.m. for me in the morning. I've only been awake for 20 hours at the moment. I mean, that's not really an excuse.
That's no big deal. But yeah, it is going to be the fortress age for Revnak. We're going to take a quick look at Unger's and see what he's up to, see if he's going to be following up to Fortress Age shortly. And yeah, it looks like he is. The 700 coin has just arrived, and he's got the resources to age, so he'll be following up shortly himself. But yeah, the economy is surprisingly even at the moment. I guess training settler wagons with the Wignacort construction and everything, German tongues, that's a pretty good boom for Malta themselves.
Now that you mention it, it's actually kind of insane, right? Like, because it's 30% on natural resources, and at this stage of the game, everything is natural resources. In fact, for almost the entirety of the game, it's natural resources. Now that I think about it, have we even seen a mill coming out at all tonight? I don't think we have.
No, not yet.
We literally haven't seen a single game with a mill. So
we saw a windmill.
We did see a windmill. That's true. Yes, but we haven't seen any mills. We haven't seen any estates come through. So yeah, Wignacort is incredibly strong, considering that obviously players fight heavily over the natural resources.
Yeah, and especially when you're playing up against Portuguese and they're conceding this much of the map to you early on in the game, and you can train those settler wagons from it. Yeah, it seems like Malta can keep up with the boom, at least in the short term. He will have to make something happen probably in early Fortress Age, though.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I want to have a look at the deck just once again for Revnak. I'm assuming he's got whale oil in here. Okay, he does have whale oil, so I suspect that might come through shortly. Obviously, a really good card once you need to start cranking out all that artillery. But probably focus on units a bit more in the short term. Moving on to Castadors now. Seen any Dragoons out just yet? I didn't spot them out on the field yet, Mitoe.
No Dragoons yet, as far as I've seen. I do see Minutemen and Castors being called at the main town center, though.
All right, we'll head down to that main town center now. So he's managed to get a couple of shots on. Minutemen, unfortunately, going to be losing their life here. He's actually heading out towards that position. I would advise him to be very careful. Those Hussars, they mean business. All right, well, Age 3's now come through for Ungers. It's got the very... I say very forward. I mean, it's still pretty damn forward, isn't it, this town center? Oh, does this get spotted out? Oh, no, this doesn't get spotted out by the Dead Explorer. We'll head back towards the main base, though. It looks like there might be a bit of a battle unfolding. Indeed, there is, as the Castadors just getting cleaned up completely. Unger's looking to try and take an early advantage in this game. He's up to the Fortress Age. And I don't think Breeze expected that there'd be this much of a presence, rather, of military out on the field for his Maltese counterpart. Organ guns coming in now, though. Let's see.
Yeah, really good catch. Really good catch for Ungers there. And oh my gosh, those organ guns. That was a nice volley there. Did those? Yeah, the pikes killed the dock. So not the end of the world. That still got something there. He's going to be forced to rebuild that dock. Yeah.
You can see now on the top side, it looks like Ungers may consider challenging the water, or that might just be the units that he sent back. Never mind, ignore me. But hello, what do we got over here? Got a fixed gun. Don't mind me. Fixed gun going to be coming out, applying some pressure on this south side and forcing Revnak to really deal with this issue. He's saying, if you want to deal with this, like, I mean, you're on a timer right now. You're going to be losing town center. You're going to be losing ground. You know, if these docks go down, then it's highly likely you will lose water because you're going to have no real way to defend yourself out here.
And there's 1,000 coin coming in for Revnak next, so that may be to construct some culverins or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a smart move for him in this position. The question is whether he's going to be able to deal with it in time, because culverins, obviously, they attack quite slowly, and I'm not sure exactly, but I would suspect it's probably about, what, 10 shots to deal with these?
Yeah, and look at the water on the right side of the map. There's got to be some Zebeks or something in the water. And yeah, there's a Zebek and a frigate out. Ungers is doing a great job of applying pressure to Revnak right now.
This, to me, looks like overkill. This is so much just to deal with a couple of fishing boats. I guess his expectation is that there's going to be 5 caravels out here and 3 frigates. But not going to be the case. Maybe could have shared the love around a bit to the top side and had a bit more luck with his diversification. But by the same token, the response is good here from Ungers. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely been a good response from him so far. This town center is almost down. The crossbow is going to be poking in a little bit. Maybe they're just going to walk in and finish it off. And I imagine that'll be the cue for the frigates to come down all the way down here and finish off the dock and the barracks and stuff like that. I'm curious to see if he chooses to refund the fixed gun and construct it on the other side, or maybe he just builds another fixed gun, doesn't even need to refund it.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent spot that he's got here. He's going to look to take out the docks, and then I suspect he'll probably be doing that. Maybe push it up a little bit. It definitely feels like he's got the momentum here. There's a slight lead in the score, but still, looks good. Look how fast that Zebek moves in. Trying to get in range of those organ guns. You know exactly how badly he wants it. Damn, that thing fires fast. Look at that thing go. Like a Gatling gun on the water. All right, Mitoe, on the north side, it doesn't look like there's too much action up here for the moment.
That house, though, is that house going to go down? The house goes down!
It does. It does go down, but there's still a pretty effective water economy up here, so... Villager count at the moment, 64 for Revnak versus the 50 for Ungers, but remember, those villagers are affected by one of the strongest economic cards in the game. Of course, that is the Wigner Court constructions. Gives an extra 30% to villagers on those natural resources.
Yeah, it's definitely helping out his economy a lot. Despite the villager lead for Revnak, it doesn't feel like his economy is better. And yeah, it's in large part due to the Wigner Court constructions, as you've mentioned. But in the middle of the map, though, Revnak pushing in. He might be finding some villagers in the middle. He is indeed catching at least one villager. The rest seem to have escaped. And more action going down on the north side of the map as some fishing boats seem to be under fire from the commandery.
Commandery doing well at this stage. We do also have Mamelukes coming through. So Revnak may be looking to push and commit here. Obviously, both of these civilizations scale. The longer this game goes on, the better it gets for both of them. But the problem is when you put them up against each other, then realistically it gets better for nobody. You know, everybody, unfortunately, not feeling well, but those crossbows doing a decent job.
Oh, the organ guns could get a really good volley.
It's looking juicy. We'll head back towards that main battle. The main battle right now, it's going ham right now. I'm sure those organ guns were looking good, but the culverin are out. Our observers just apologized to us, guys. Don't worry. We will make sure that we stay with this battle here as the culverin looks to try and get some picks off. Juicy picks, but unfortunately Revnak in a difficult position here as the siege continues. And the question is, where do those fixed guns go? Does he just leave it back there? Because he was actually trying to build a new one, so there could be another one that moves up. Looks like Double Dragoon in progress at the moment. Kalv's going to be coming out as well for Ungers. I mean, this is just impressive, the amount of production he's got sitting behind it. But at the same time, on the other side, you see it's just Cassadors. Is there any sign that we've got artillery coming out for Revnak? It doesn't feel like it. He's got the organ guns, but that seems like it's it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's invested into an artillery foundry just yet. And well, I'm not sure if now is the best time to do it. I mean, if Unger starts making artillery, that could be tricky, and that would definitely signal a need for Revnak to make his own culverins. But for now, it's just culverins out for Ungers, so he doesn't really need an artillery foundry just yet. You know, there's 4 culverins out. Do you really want to open up with a siege workshop against that?
Yeah, probably not. You wouldn't want to open up with a artillery foundry against that, Mitoe.
Oh no.
Oh gosh, this is. I'm loving the banter in this cast, by the way. I'm enjoying this. This has been a really fun cast with you.
It's getting me every time. Every time we talk about a building. At least they haven't called the barracks the archery range yet.
Wait, there's a different. No, I'm just kidding. Well, Cole's doing a decent job at the moment, just providing a little bit of cover fire here. Crossbows going up against Cassadors. Cassador is one of the best ranged units that you can get in the game, ranged infantry units in particular. Just an incredibly strong unit, just because that extra ranged armor that they get. Definitely a fan favorite. Definitely one of my favorites as well. But a heavy cold presence out here going to prevent any sort of organ gun pressure. Do we see him moving up with the fixed guns? It's going to be the question. Slowly but steadily pushing up with the Colves. He's got plenty of line of sight. Gets off a nice little volley there. Realistically, I feel like Unger's army isn't that impressive here.
No, it isn't. A lot of the power there is in those culverins. There's 2,000 resources in those culverins right now. He's also got, 7 population in that fixed gun on the south side of the map that's not really able to contribute to the main fight here, so he's not quite able to push in as much as he'd like to. But there's culverins out now for Revnak.
Yeah, we'll head back to the main fight as more Colves are swooping in from that western side. We can see, it looks like Revnak might have him on the ropes here. He's beginning to apply some pressure. Gonna have to head underneath this infrastructure. Let's watch to see how the culverin played out. They're gonna be unpacking out now for Revnak. He's looking to try and get a little eye off towards his enemy. Potentially throw down a spyglass or two and see how he goes, but it looks like he's just gonna be backing out for the moment. Deal with the commandery. I think I pronounced that correctly. I tried my best.
Can I just say, I love that Unger's trained a bunch of culverins, and he's been sitting on them for like 5 minutes now, and he hasn't made any other artillery. And Revnak is like, man, these culverins are annoying. I'm gonna make culverins to counter them.
This is the Colv meta, all right? We've been seeing this for months and months now. It's where you just make thousands of Culverin throughout the game. The true strong unit. Yeah, at the moment we can see Revnak struggling a little bit with food. It looks like his fish on the open ocean has indeed run out. So, you know, it's going to be a case of just there not being enough fish in the sea. Yeah, but we can see Unger's moving forward. He's looking, he's posturing. Not going to be able to find any artillery today. Culverin going to unpack for his opponent. Now he's going to be sitting behind this tree line. Let's see if he's able to get off the shots. It's all going to come down to the micro here. Beautiful shots coming off volleys, landing. He gets the double on the top side. Beautiful little conversion there. The 2-for-1 to take that any day of the week. Now oh my lord, it's beautiful coming out from Ungers, but it means nothing because we don't even have any other artillery out here. It's like, congratulations, it was beautiful micro, but you've got no organ guns, no heavy cannons, no falconets, no horse cannons.
You're right, but what it does do is it now means that Revnak can't really make these organ guns that he did just make anyway safely, and behind it Ungers is training falconets himself.
Yeah, this is a great call. Obviously, you want to win all the battles, and good game gets called. Unger's going to be going through with the 6th game. They tie it up a piece, 3-3. These guys, they just can't leave each other alone. We started off 1-0, ended up 1-1. Then went up to 2-1, finished up 2-2. Got up to 3-2, and now look where we are. We're back at 3-3. These guys are madmen, Mitoe.
Yeah, it looks like a close series. You know, you were talking about 18 games earlier. We're not going to get 18 games, but it is looking like we could get 17.
This is a great point. This is a great point. These guys are definitely evenly matched. You know, these are the best type of finals, right? Like, the ones where it's close. You hate to see the clean sweeps. They're just nowhere near as fun as these ones where it really comes down to the line.
Yeah, you don't want to see the 5-0 sweep. Glad to see that they're evenly matched. Malta winning both games in this series was not something I expected, but I'm happy to see it. And yeah, the Civ pools now are getting a little bit tight for these players, I think. Revnak, what other civs does he really play a lot?
Ethiopia.
Yeah, he does play a little bit of Ethiopia. He also plays a lot of Japan. That could be something we see from him. Or British. There is a civilization ban. I'm not sure which ones they've banned.
Good question. I didn't actually remember. I did see it earlier.
I also know both these players play a little bit of Mexico.
Yeah, okay, we could see some Mexico out. Oh, I'm gonna need your help if it's Mexico. Mexico's fucking wild,
I can help
dude.
with that.
Oh my lord. Mexico's on another level compared to these civs. I mean, Italians, I feel like I'm just playing, you know, French 2.0. Mexico, it's like you put Lakota and you mix them up with the Ethiopians, and then you got a little bit crazy with the United States, and now I'm wearing a sombrero.
It's just Spain. Kind of. You know, they have rods, they have lancers, they have then there's a little bit of the United States in there, that's true.
Yeah, I got no clue. All right.
Well, if we see the Mexicans, I'll help you out with them. Don't you worry.
Yes. All right. Well, we've got the next civilizations. We got a classic for you. Oh, Mitoe, you're gonna like this one. We got the Ottomans for Revnak, and we got the Russians for Ungers.
Oh, I actually do like this matchup.
Yeah.
I think it's tough for Russia, but there's some cool things that Russia can do to try and outplay.
So, what are you thinking? What's your game plan? You coming to this? You're playing as Russia. You're up against the Ottomans.
Well, it is tough. Like, you somehow have to deal with the 2 Falc push. It's hard for you to age before you deal with that. I mean, I guess it depends kind of like on whether or not Ottomans decides to stage 2 or not. If they stage 2, you're going to have a tough time dealing with Abyss guns. Strelets, you know, you can kind of afford to lose them cost effectively against the Abyss, but it's hard to catch them. That's the thing.
Correct. Yeah, it's always an uphill battle when you're playing as the Russians in this matchup. It feels like it was always so hard against the Ottos.
If you do get to that point where you've survived to mid fortress, and you can start upgrading your Strelets, you can start mixing in a few Oprichniks, especially. Then things start getting really tough for Ottomans. They don't like dealing with raids, especially when you have strong raiders like Oprichniks.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. But I guess the reality is, hey, at least they get free villages. So if you kill any of them, that's fine. I'll replace them slowly, but I'll replace them. All right. Well, while we're waiting for this game to start, I'm going to take a quick break just to get just another one, just to check on the baby. I know he's awake. I know he was having his milk before, but give me about 90 seconds, Mitoe. Look after the boys and girls.
Not
and
a
enemies.
problem. Yeah, tough matchup for Russia, but it is winnable. The biggest hurdles in this matchup for Russia are going to be the early fortress push and then the Mameluke and Spahi follow-ups. The Mameluke and the Spahi are definitely the trickiest units for Ottomans to deal with in this, or for Russians to deal with in this matchup. Ruskets just don't cut it. Someone calling out the Kalmuk FF. Yeah, that's an old strategy. That hasn't been meta since like the PK clan tournament in 2013. It's a long time ago. But I could see that not being a horrible option in this matchup. Getting out the early goons to deal with the Jan Falk push. It's expensive though, and it's not super fast. It might be too slow. Yeah, I think Joe is right. I think the Kalmuks are a little bit too slow versus Ottomans. Maybe if the I can't remember what it's called. Western Reforms? Is that the upgrade that you get with the card at the church that gives you all your veteran upgrades? Maybe if that was a little bit better. But alright, looks like we're going to be jumping into the next game in just a second here. All right. The game seems to be frozen for us at the moment. We may need. We might need to just restart the game, so just hang on a minute, guys. While we wait, we can talk a little bit about the players in the finals here. Most people should be familiar with Revnak. He's been around for a long time in the community. Gone by many names: Breeze Brothers, Age of Killer.
I am back.
Always been a strong player. Welcome back, Drongo.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Just in time. I think we might be getting back into the game now.
I think we may be indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, It is my pleasure to introduce our 7th game for this evening. 7 games. Jeez Louise. It's a lot of games. We ain't even started yet. I mean, technically... Oh, hold on a minute. We're waiting, don't worry. Oh no. Is Josh okay? Josh? Alright. Don't worry, guys. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright. Coming in. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 7. Oh my lord, 7 games in this series. Well, this is a best of 9 series. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the color red, playing as the Ottomans, it's Revnak. And in the north of the map, playing as the Russians in the color blue, we've got Ungers. Already there's action over towards that eastern side of the map. We got both players running out towards that outpost, looking to try and snag it. Rather, that trading post. Looks like it's going to be grabbed up by Revnak. Unger's going to be happy to begin leashing up the Explorer. Mitoe, is this a typical play you'd like to go for in the early stages of the game as well? Go find that Ottoman Explorer?
Yeah, it's definitely an option. It's a bit lame, and you might get flamed, but it is a good option. It's interesting that that Revnak chose to run all the way up to this far TP for the pass, but I guess that is the first pass, and it seems that Ungers was aware of that, and so he went to check, and lo and behold, he is rewarded. If he can kill the Explorer, or at least get it low enough that he can deny trading posts, that'll be a pretty good situation for him.
Yeah, get him a nice little bit of XP as well. He's also got the 300 wood in the deck, so this is potentially could go for something a little bit cheeky early. We also do see Spice Trade in the deck, and everything else looking pretty standard here.
Yeah, pretty standard looking deck. The 300 wood is definitely the most unique thing about this deck, but I think he's sending distributivism right now, so I think we're unlikely to see 300 wood come into play, unfortunately.
It's unfortunate, but there's always next time. There's always next time. But he's done a great job getting the health of his enemy's Explorer down so far. Always really keeping up with the leash. You know, one of the things people will do with the leash is just sort of leave it on autopilot and let it go. But you can see he's actively making sure he's animation canceling. As soon as that attack comes off, he's walking towards it. So being a really, really annoying enemy Explorer right here.
Yeah, and when you do that, it's pretty much impossible to escape the snare. And you're doing extra damage, even if they're not trying to escape. And he steals the 50 wood treasure as well. What a jerk.
Oh, wow. This is... Jeez, Unger's looking good at the moment in this 7th game. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 7 in this series. This is a best of 9 series, so there's guaranteed to be at least 2 more. That is for sure. Got a nice little deck coming out here as well from the Ottomans. Just your classic, but it looks very heavy on the Age 2, so no Age 4 shenanigans by the looks of it. But, I mean, to me, this looks like it could be very heavy Age 2, but at the same time, it could be an Age 3 deck as well.
Yeah, pretty flexible deck overall. We'll have to see what he's aging with to confirm, but he's only got a handful of Vils on gold right now. He's got most of Vils on food. It looks like it could be a Tower FF.
All right, well, we got ourselves a pause coming through in the 7th game. Just when you thought that there was no drama, hold on, we got drama-rama. We'll wait to hear exactly what we've got this pause for and fill you guys in. It could be that someone's just warming up their hands. All right, apparently a little bit of a... It was because of the replay bug, but it has been fixed now, so they will shortly unpause. All right, any second now.
While we're waiting to unpause, can we take a look at what Revnak and Ungers are aging with? I think it's going to be probably, yeah, the Governor, okay, going to be coming out for Revnak there, so he's going to be going for the Tower FF for sure. And yeah, the Quartermaster from Russia, nothing super surprising there. You can sometimes see the Philosopher Prince, but Usually not the ideal option.
All right, well, we've got the unpause happening. It's just going to be nice little hunting dogs in the transition, Mitoe. How you feeling about the hunting dogs? You're always a fan of getting these upgrades in nice and early as the Russians. We did see that Ungers did have spice trade in the deck, so maybe he's thinking about stacking up everything. It's the old classic. You get the steel traps, the hunting dogs, spice trade, and you take all the food in the world.
Yeah, it could be an option if he wants to stay in the second age for a long time.
All right, well, we'll have to look and see exactly how Revnak plays. It's definitely going to be that fast fortress that we come to love and expect. So you're expecting out of Revnak a very likely 2 Falc push with a couple of gens in tow?
That's what you would expect. But more interesting than that is that Ungers is not going to build a forward blockhouse. And I wonder if that means that he could be planning to actually try to get to Fortress early himself as well, which is not something you normally see with Russia.
Well,
yeah, 700 coin is coming in as the first card.
All right, I'm getting excited.
The blockhouse.
Blockhouse coming up.
This has to just be for an age up, right? Like, there's no way you would be mining this much coin otherwise.
But why has he got so few villagers on food?
I guess he's just collecting the 300 gold that he'll need to age, and then he'll switch them over to food. But this almost feels like it would have been a little bit better if he'd gone for a 17 villager age
I was going to say, why just not 17 vill age up then? Because you're not going to delay your age up. In fact, you're just going to enhance it because you got 3 vills earlier than what you normally would.
He does get the TP a little bit earlier from the 400 wood, I guess, and the blockhouse goes up a little bit earlier. So maybe there's a little bit of added safety if Russia does something aggressive, but yeah, definitely could have been maybe a little bit smoother with the build order.
All right, well, first of the trading post goes up for Ungers. He matches Revnak 1 apiece here. Steel trap's going to be coming through as well. And we see, it looks like 700 wood coming through. So, yeah, nice little shipment here for him. Going to start working on that shipment curve. He gets the timing as well on that travois coming through.
Has someone told Ungers that he's playing Russia and not Spain?
The flags are kind of similar. They're both got white and red in them. It can be difficult to remember. But,
yeah, okay, I could see that.
Yeah, going up with the scout, though, for the Ottomans. I guess this is something you'd expect against the Russians. Similar to the Chinese, the Russians have got difficulty dealing with cavalry. You see them typically focus on things like Manchu as a way to deal with cavalry from their enemy. So it makes sense for him to be going for this here.
Yeah,
also yeah, go for it.
Sorry, the 4 Hussars, I mean, they also just give him a lot of presence on the map, right? Like, if there's some Cossacks running around the map, he'll be able to defend them a little bit against them a little bit more easily. Or if Ungers has some villagers exposed, like maybe there's villagers on a forward blockhouse somewhere, he would have been able to go for those. Of course, we know there isn't a forward blockhouse, but I don't think that he knew that at the moment that he clicked up to the next age.
Yeah, you can see the score difference between them. Obviously, Russia loves or already just underscores, but as soon as that fortress age is reached, it's quite hefty. But now we see Ungers is clicked up as well, so he's going to have a little bit more score in his back pocket now. So don't ever trust the score. Now also pushing out, so going up with, I can only assume, the exiled prince here.
Yeah, it is indeed the exiled prince. That is going to be pretty much the only option here. Is that a second blockhouse that's getting denied? Oh, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, this is tough. This is really, really tough when you lose a blockhouse like this, but Musket's going to get absolutely eaten alive. Beautiful micro coming out from both of these players. Look, you can tell these guys are playing on like 2 or 3 ping right now. Just the way that they're pulling units in and out from each other. The age up comes through. We'll take a look and see what the shipment's going to be. Could be a Cossack shipment. No, it's going to just be Strelitz. He overpops himself. He's sitting at 45 or 35 right now. Loses the blockhouse. Villagers still underneath the town center. Looks like he's focusing down the Explorer at the moment with his TC. So probably not the best decision there. Probably a lot better things to focus down, like the Hussars in particular. But he's doing
a little bit
well
of XP at least, which he'll need for his next shipment. But the Falconets are here. The town center is going to have to be focusing that. I don't think the Strelitz are going to want to go anywhere near those.
This is not looking good right now for Ungers. Very difficult matchup. We talked about this before the game. The Strelets do pop out though. Just gonna move over towards the right side of the TC for now. Janissaries joining up, linking together. I'm curious to see how he responds to the Falconets. What's the best way that he deals with this? Because there's a number of different ways you can go about it. But for me, the classic way is just the 10 Vils in the TC, focus down the Falc.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he's got to do right now. He is going to be rebuilding that blockhouse on the left side, which luckily for him, Revnak has opted to check out the right side of his base. And yeah, I mean, for now, he's still holding on. He definitely took a lot of damage there, but overall, he's not out just yet. The real problem is going to be, like, Ottomans may choose to follow this up with like 1,000 coin, and then, you know, save that coin up for the Mamelukes, and then as Ottomans or as Russia, that's when you start to cry a little bit inside.
I feel like Ungers might already be crying quite a bit. He's lost one blockhouse. He's got the second one that's gone down as well. He's put a third one at the back of his base. I mean, I feel my tears would have been flowing by maybe that first blockhouse, maybe that second one at the latest, but he's got the 2 Falcs that have arrived. But as you mentioned, now the Ottomans reach the next phase, which is going to be the classic, the Mameluke phase, or alternatively, the Spahi phase.
Yeah, but I mean, on the other hand, you know, with the Falconets, he is going to be able to defend. Revnak's not going to be able to push in here. And
Nice.
behind this, what's Revnak's follow-up? He doesn't have Stagecoach. He doesn't have second TCs. He is kind of all in on whenever the first big fight happens. And if that big fight doesn't go well for him... Oh, wow,
speaking
that
of
was
going
really
well.
huge.
Oh, this is massive right now. Unger's looking like he's in a decent spot. Falconet's moving in. Oh, he gets the double. Oh, it's terrible damage right now. The second Falconet's gone down. He manages to take back down one, but he's committed heavily to it. The Gens are in deep right now, heading into melee mode. He's going to look to try and get in, but the Minutemen get cold. He's trying to push back this Falconet. He's doing a decent job, and the Gens with their big old knives coming out, looking to take it out. He takes him out from point blank range. It's an absolute cleanup. Unger's looking incredible in game number 7 here.
That was not what I expected, but that turned really quickly with the Falconet snipe there. And yeah, I think Ungers is in a totally fine position now. I mean, he does still have to worry about potentially Spahi or Mamelukes coming out in the future, but he's got time now, and Revnak's going to have a harder time pushing now that those Falconets are gone. Can we take a quick look at what Revnak's actually got coming behind this? Because he needs to come up with something, and 5 Hussars, it was probably not what he wanted as the follow-up here. He was definitely hoping to have his whole army available for that push with these 5 Hussars, but that's not the case anymore.
I'd like to just take a moment to admire the Giga Chad that is Ungers. Under all that pressure, Minutemen, Falc Wars, all of that, he had 1,000 wood shipping, and he's like, yeah, we're just going to keep it shipping. I'm not too fussed. I'll hold it easily.
This hunt is actually a huge problem, though. There's no other resources left back in Unger's base. And actually, I think maybe the 5 Hussars is going to turn out to be an amazing shipment. This blockhouse might not even go up.
Villagers, unfortunately, now going to have to commit heavily to this blockhouse. The Gen's going to start helping out as well. Getting picked off. Indeed, the blockhouse does go up. Villagers going to be jumping inside to safety, but Gen's immediately turning their attention towards it. And just as soon as we'd called it one way, it looks to swing as quickly in the other direction.
Yeah, I spoke a little bit too soon. We didn't look at the map. He's completely out of food. He's going to lose all the Vils. And I mean, you lose all your Vils, and you still have a Vil lead on Ottomans, but that doesn't feel good.
Typically, against the Ottos, you want to be ahead at least a little bit, but yeah, he's doing a decent job. The Falc micro coming in, but unfortunately, the Falconet will go down finally. Cav Archers going to try their best to hold on against those 5 Hussars, but I got to say, Mitoe, those 5 Hussars definitely did a lot more work than what we expected they would.
No, at first I thought they just weren't going to do anything, but yeah, good on Revnak to recognize that there was just no hunt left in the base, and all he had to do was just walk to the hunt, and it would be big trouble.
Indeed, it was big trouble in Little Moscow. And Unger's unfortunately not looking the best, not looking the hottest right now underneath the town center. Still really committing hard. Revnak, you know, that first push failed immensely, but he just managed to pull a couple units out of a hat right now. Jen's just completely chasing down everything. He's got cav archers out here. He's trying his best to hold on, but I feel like it's not going to be enough. More gens coming in. They're going to be looking to hit that gold mine. Indeed, they do. Is this it? I feel like this could be it.
I think this might be it. This went from good to bad to good again for Revnak. And yeah, it looks like he's likely going to be securing himself a 4-3 lead, putting himself at match point. And Ungers is going to have to look to try to win 2 games in a row off the back of this loss.
Well, look, it's never been done before in this series. Both players have traded games throughout the series, but now all of a sudden Revnak will be taking, well, at least it looks this way. He'll be taking a second game in a row. So there is always the way there was always the first one to combo break.
I mean, there's no way that he holds this, right? There's 6 Cossacks coming against pure Janissaries. That's not ideal.
Hey, he's got veteran Cossack coming through as well. Good game gets called though. Unger's going to be tapping out. Revnak going to be victorious here in this 7th game in the series. Going to be heading into match point, the final game potentially, game number 8. All right, well, have a look now at the tabs as well as the game summary we'll jump to shortly. Let's get a look at that that timeline rather. Yeah, look at the military difference right there. You can see as soon as the Falcons go down, that military pop just jumps right on down, and somehow Revnak turns things around.
Yeah, just good map awareness from him. Recognizing that hunt, probably seeing the villagers on the dead animal there, and taking advantage of it, yeah. Yeah, really nice stuff. All right, well, we're going to be moving forward onto game number 8 in this series. This is match point. This is where the money potentially gets made right now. We've seen a lot of civilizations come out throughout the day, but Mitoe, I now put the burden upon you. Which civilization is Unger's going to call to in his time of need? Is Dutch. The British the best choice? The Dutch, the dangers of the Dutch he looks to exploit. He hasn't pulled out a Chinese just yet, but I think that's for a very specific reason. I think it may have been banned away. Yeah, it could be. There would definitely be one of those 3 civs I would expect from Ungers is, British, China, or, Mexico, actually.
Hello. We're going to need a little bit of help over here. Yeah, this is, what's that civilization? Up against the French. Okay, Mitoe, I'll cover the French. You cover the Mexico civ, all right? That's what we'll call it. No. We got to do this the other way around. What are you talking about? I don't even know how to draw that flag, let alone what it is. I can see we got Riot Coke in the chat asking the question, what's the difference between the first and second prize? You know, how much money are these guys really playing for? So at the moment, it's $2,500 for first and $1,500 for second. So quite a significant difference. Yeah. It's hey, that's $1,000. That's a lot of money. What could you do with $1,000? Australian dollars? Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean, in Australian dollar dues, that's probably $1,500. You could do a lot with that. I could buy a 3090 for that. That's a lot of money. You already have a 3090. You don't need it. It's true. Actually, I don't. I've got a 3070. But we can pretend that I've got a 3090. It's got the 30 in it. The 7 is almost shaped like a 9. It's true, actually. It's quite close. Just a little bit of a rounded edge, it'll be fine. So, Mexico versus French. To be perfectly honest, I've played a lot of Mexico, but I actually don't know a lot of Mexican build orders. There are some standard Mexican build orders where you do these crazy Age 2 revolutions into randomly you're somehow an industrial and you're just making all these 2 population musketeers and stuff like that. So we'll see if he goes for something like that. And if not, then hopefully I actually know what I'm talking about. I do know what most of the revolutions do. But yeah, in this matchup, I'm not sure exactly what to expect from him. I would think that it's probably going to be either some form of like Age 2 play into a semi-FF, or it could just be like a Soldado semi-FF or semi-FR. Yeah. Fast revolt. Don't worry, guys. I got the terminology down. The fast revolt, rather.
The fast resort. You're quickly running away to those resorts in Mexico.
Actually, Mexico's got a really booming resort scene, doesn't it?
They do.
I remember reading about
They're really
it.
nice, a lot of them.
Yes, I'm gonna have a look. There's this whole, I can't remember what it's called. This part here, Baja California. This is where the good stuff is over here. Oh my
And
lord.
that actually works. Baja California is one of the revolutions. FR, fast resort.
There you go, fast resort. Man, I'm looking at this like, man, Mexico's got so much good real estate. They've got like a beautiful long bay here. Oh my lord, man.
Mm-hmm.
They got so much real estate. We gotta get over there, Mitoe. That looks amazing.
If we had that $1,500 that you were talking about, 1,500 Australian dollars, we could afford it.
Maybe we could. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 8 in the series against Revnak and Ungers. This is your grand final for the Kings of the World, or Kings of the Old World, rather. The Age of Empires 3 tournament. One of the biggest that we've ever had in the history of the game, with the exception of what? WCG 2008, potentially, Mitoe?
I think that was the last time, yeah.
Yeah, so look, it's been a while. The biggest in 15 years. Let's just go with that, or 14 years. But spawning in over on the north side or west side of the map, northwest side of the map, in the color blue, playing as Mexico, we've got Ungers. And on the opposite side of the map, on the southeast side, playing as the French in the color red, it's Revnak. All right, so we were talking a little bit earlier before how we expect this game to go. I'm going to cover the French side. Mitoe's going to cover the Mexican side. So the French player, he's going to make coureur de bois, and he's also going to research steel traps. That's what we know. Mitoe, you got Mexico. Okay, go.
Okay, so Mexico is going to research steel traps as well. They're also going to ship 2 villas and a hacienda. Now, hacienda, that is quite a building. That can both trickle resources. It can be used as a mill. It can train villagers. It can train units. It can garrison villagers. Hacienda can do anything, okay? Now, you also have another hero when you age. I can't remember exactly what he's called, but he can construct cathedrals and heal other units. And your explorer, he also has the inspiring flag ability. Is this enough information for you? Should I keep talking?
What's the name of the explorer? You didn't mention it. You did say that you couldn't remember. I remember reading something about Don Zorro. Yeah, I think that's it.
It's the Padre, that's the one.
Padre, yes, close. All right, well, we'll wait to see the Padre come out. I'll still be looking for a cross between Zorro and Donati. Equally Mexican and equally as handsome as Padre, I'm sure.
Oh, he could be losing a treasure here, though.
He's going to be going down for the contest. Let's see if he gets it. Explorer getting absolutely slaughtered here by the native scout together with that French explorer. See if he's able to do it. Oh, it looks like he gets it. Never mind. Unger's going to be able to take it for himself. 135 XP. That's a nice little start. He's able to send through a second hacienda. Am I seeing that right?
You are. That is indeed a card for a second hacienda. And wow, the general is actually going to live. I can't believe Revnak actually let him get away with that. And now the Padre is just going to be able to heal up that explorer when he hits the next stage, so it's not even that big of a deal. I mean, of course, he's not going to be able to do as much scouting as he would like. But yeah, looks like he is going to be going for some kind of hacienda build. Can we check what he's aging with? I'm not going to promise that I remember which cards come with... Yeah, there's no way I remember what that one does.
Mitoe. Disappointed I am. How can you not remember the one of... How many options? Like 28 different options that the Mexicans have got in Age of Empires 3. So, look, that's all right. We'll forgive you. But he's got some good hacienda coverage down here. Plenty of line of sight coming out on these bad boys. We'll jump into Unger's line of sight. I want to see exactly what he sees right now. Yeah, you can see right here. Ain't no hussars getting by this guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and these can both act as shipment points as well. So it looks like he's going to be playing fairly aggressively. And yeah, we'll see how that plays out for him. Walls coming down already for Revnak. What a surprise. We've never seen that before.
This is strange. I wouldn't expect walls out of a guy like Revnak at this kind of level. You know, we're in the 8th game. grand final. It's a $9,000 tournament. One of the biggest in the history of the game. Why would he be making walls right now? Perhaps he suspects that there may be some early aggression.
It could actually be that he just overgathered a little bit of wood. If you look at his wood count right now, it's pretty much perfect. Maybe he overgathered by 10, and he was like, you know, what's the harm in throwing down this wall to restrict pathing a little bit around this hunt? So it could just be a clever way to make use of some extra resources he was stockpiling.
That's a smart move, actually. I like it. Well, he's got a barracks that he's dropped down so far, so not going to be opening up with anything like you'd normally expect. Typically, out of the French, you'd look towards that very early Hussar opening, and then into the Fortress Age behind it. But not going to be the case today. Just going to be some muskets, and now continuing on with this beautiful walling fashion. He cancels off the pillars. Gets a nice little refund. Checking over on the side of Unger's and see how he's doing. It's going to be some more shipments coming through here.
Yeah, it looks like he's went for the card that grants you an extra hacienda and also allows them to support 20 more population. So that's going to be nice for him, as he's not going to need to construct any houses for a while. Those haciendas double as like half a villager as well. And of course, yeah, as you mentioned, he's going to get a lot of line of sight from that. You can see he's placing that third hacienda up at the north side of the map, probably next to that gold mine in that hunt, just to get control over that area. Yep, that's a perfect location. If he ever sees CDBs up there, he can always send a shipment there or just send some units, and he'll be just fine with that. Can we take a quick look at Unger's base, and we'll see if he's got any market or cathedral or anything like that going up. Nothing just yet. He does have a market. He does have steel traps, but no cathedral for him just yet. And I guess that makes sense, because at the cathedral you would have an upgrade that gives you 1 free insurgent for every house you have. But since he's got his population solved by these haciendas, he doesn't really need that cathedral. Right, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But we see these high mobility units coming out. It looks like he's going to be attempting to take the windmill. Windmill? The windmill. The windmill. Food production building. Now, I know that this has got 1 food per second in the first stage. Does it go up over time? Not that I'm aware of. I'm curious if that hacienda is actually close enough to maintain control over that windmill if one of Revnak's units were to approach that mill alone with nothing else nearby. Maybe we'll find out in a moment here. Somehow that general will ensnared again for the 2nd time this game. Fortunately, he's got a lot of friends nearby this time. But we now see the Fortress Ages coming through. I suspect it's going to be the Exiled Prince, and indeed it is the Exiled Prince. So it's going to be Revnak looking to probably move into... Actually, he could go for a different playstyle here. If he wanted to, he could go 2 Falcons into Musks. Something that we don't always see French players do. I guess it's... Who really does 2 Falcons, or who does 2 Falcons with lots of Musks? I mean, maybe like the Ottomans, realistically? I actually do it all the time with French, not gonna lie. Oh, really? Okay. All right, well, this could be it. Because I was thinking, you know, he's probably going to go into Goon Skirm, and I'm like, you do Goon Skirm, and now you've just got a whole bunch of useless muskets. Like, you gotta do something. You gotta achieve something with these muskets. Let's see what he does, though. Yep, it is going to be the 2 Falconets on the way. And how is Unger's going to respond to this? It's, of course, really hard to push in here. These walls have done a really good job of preventing him from pathing through here. He's saving to age, it looks like. That 700 coin just arrived. The problem is that he's probably going to be giving up some of these forward buildings while he ages. And there's a lot of XP to be gained here, isn't there? There is, yeah. Killing a hacienda at 600 resources, so yeah, that's quite a decent chunk of change going into your EXP coffers. And unfortunately for Unger's, since he doesn't have the cathedral, stealth mode on the Salteadors. But there's a tech at the cathedral, I believe it costs 500 gold, that improves the speed of your age up. And since he doesn't have that, this age up is going to take quite a long time for him, unfortunately. So he's definitely going to lose this first hacienda, along with the 20 population it provides. Probably going to be losing the barracks as well, but yeah, we now see more and more units beginning to build up those muskets. Looks like we've got veterancy through on those bad boys as well. Not a lot of upgrades, though, for the muskets of the French. Are there? Actually, now that I think about it, no, there's not. Actually, there's none at all.
those affects the
there
crossbows. Is it really?
Yeah, they
thought
have team ranged infantry attack.
Doesn't that only affect ranged infantry, not muskets?
Nope, it affects muskets as well.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna trust you here. You're our resident French expert. Trading post up in the north. Gonna be, or rather, over on the east side. Gonna be going down. Muskets moving around, being very effective here. And now looking to clean up the second of the haciendas.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for Ungers. He might have overextended with these haciendas a little bit. He is taking down the trading post on the right side of the map, so he's at least trading something in exchange for these buildings. But it's not an ideal situation.
What did he gain for moving these haciendas out here? Obviously, it's nice to have line of sight. Everybody likes line of sight, but, you know, we don't go building outposts outside the enemy's base at 4 minutes because we like line of sight.
Yeah, I think maybe he was hoping he could play more aggressively, but Revnak with the walls just kind of made that difficult for him.
Yeah, all right. Well, he's up to the Fortress Age now. Let's see exactly what he looks to do. 2 Falconets going to be coming his way, so not going to be nothing revolting going to be happening today, it seems. Everybody just going to be sticking to the plan. 2 Falcons definitely going to be looking to determine how this game unfolds. You know, very often we can see games won or lost on a coin flip. You know, you see it all the time. Brit mirrors, Haudenosaunee mirrors. Potentially we see it coming out this game as well as...
Whoa, I didn't even know you could delete that.
You can delete the windmill? That feels bad, man. You just delete the windmill as your enemy's going to take it, but now you can't even recap it. What? Mitoe, I don't like that.
I've never seen that before.
Contact interjection right now. Let's get a hot fix in for that one. Fixed a bug where you could delete neutral mills. I mean, I'll be honest. If that was Revnak that did that delete, oh my lord, we'd have one salty game. And now all of a sudden we've got some shots coming off from those Falcons. I didn't hear the bullets, but I can tell you what, I saw them. Almost going down there.
Yeah, and I mean, despite losing all those buildings, it looks like Revnak's actually found himself in a decent position. You know, he's got pretty much identical population on everything to his opponent. I guess CDBs are worth more than villagers, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
We also have to keep in mind that that Mexico has to upgrade all of their units. They pretty much only get dragoons in the next stage. That shadow tech, so he's got to spend quite a few resources here to get his army on par with French as well.
You know, we start to see more salteadors coming in at this point. 2 Falcons always roaming forward. You got to keep that infantry so damn close behind, and we can see he's actually got 2 Culves out. This could be terrible right here for Ungers. Revnak on match point. This is be it. What are the Culves doing? Culves, you guys got to unpack. Indeed, they do unpack. Take the shot. And indeed, look to take out that first Falconet, and things starting to get a little bit sour here over on the west side as Ungers loses both of the Falconets for essentially free.
Yeah, that was brutal. Good call on Revnak to build the artillery foundry. Now he's got a big advantage with these 2 Falconets, and Ungers is going to have to find a way to deal with that. He does have a decent number of melee units in his army, so he could maybe try to go for some kind of surround. But yeah, it's going to be tricky. And he's forced off this gold mine on the left as well. These villagers are going to have to make a run for it. Thankfully, he didn't lose anything. But it is a lot of idle time at a moment where he really needs to be making something to deal with these Falconets. Yeah,
interestingly, take a look at the way that Ungers is playing this out. He's got very heavy focus on gold here. And he's got a Falconet in queue, which is great. But the enemy's already got Culves out. We know that. We've seen 2 Culves out. So,
well, that's actually Revnak who's got Falconets in queue.
Oh, Lord. Well, we got problems.
So we got 4 Falconets.
Ungers, we got problems, my friend. We got real big problems. That is a great pickup. Yeah, something that I neglected to see. Revnak looking incredibly good. And something that you mentioned earlier, Mitoe, is you said that now that players are more confident with their artillery control, we're really starting to see players happily invest in this sort of early big mass of artillery just because they're confident that they can defend it.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of the bigger meta shifts over the last couple years, I feel like. Like 5, 6 years ago, no one ever builds an artillery foundry unless they're forced to. But now it's like, yeah, you just build an artillery foundry in Fortress like almost every game. And it's really hard to deal with. You have to make culverins.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It looks incredibly difficult to deal with it, and when you've got amazing control, that's what sets it apart. But this Colv's going to get caught on the opposite side of the gold mine. They're moving forward, and they just get taken out. Breeze, unfortunately, just doing the classic walk up and risk it. And unfortunately, you got to risk it to get the biscuit. But the only thing he got was shot in the face.
Yeah, he does have 2 more Culves joining though, so not going to be a big problem for him. Ungers could be in trouble here.
Oh, he gets the shot, but the return comes through. It's not going to be enough, and now the response. Hold on a minute. How did he get that? Oh, damn, that looks pretty decent, but manages to equal it out and stay ahead, and now all of a sudden it's 4 Falconets that have just got no response to it. So Revnak making the smart choice here, investing in those Colves as well. And we can see he's got so many in queue as well behind this. It's looking good for Revnak. He's going to begin pushing down the base upon Ungers. We are on match point right now. This could be it. It may all come down to this next fight. And the Falconets unpack and begin working their way through the base of Ungers. Well, Mitoe, it's going to be a tough defense on this one. He's down 3K score. What can Mexico pull out of the hat right now? Because they're going to need a bit more than a rabbit, it seems.
I mean, he does have... I love that Mother Nature has 1800 food. he does have more culverins in queue, so if he manages to take a good trade with those culverins, he could be totally fine. He could even come out ahead if he manages to clean up all these Falconets or something like that. But I imagine Revnak's probably got more culverins coming behind this as well. So it's going to be tricky. It's going to come down to control.
Well, good shots to open us up here. The Colves continue moving forward. He takes out the first of the Falcons. Looks to take out the second one. So he's done a pretty decent job. He's halved the mass of Falcons he's up against, which is a really good start for Ungers on this defense. Problem is that his enemy's got a huge amount of Colves. Now we move down to the bottom of the map to view the villagers that were gathering up the food. Colves did get wiped out. We can see 2 of them on top of each other. And it's beautiful micro coming out from Ungers. He somehow manages to keep himself head above water, staying alive right now. He's singing the Bee Gees. Another little bit of a trade coming through. Colves looking to try and take each other out. Let's see if we've got the classic Culverin kiss. And both Colves go down, which definitely leaves the advantage on Revnak's side. He's still got the Falc mass here. But obviously the reinforcements for Revnak going to be a little bit longer to reach this army.
Yeah, something that Ungers could maybe take advantage of, ooh, nice raid, would be the stealth on the Salteadors. Something we often see from Haudenosaunee when they're dealing with cannons is to stealth their forest prowlers and try to set up a good position with a concave and everything and a flank with the rest of their units, and that could be something that Mexico tries here. But Salteadors do have low range, so it's not quite as easy.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult. Explorer, unfortunately, just sacrificing himself for the greater good there. More Falconets rolling up to the front line. We do see that upgrade coming through now for Revnak. It's going to be team ranged infantry damage increased. That's going to be the card that gets sent through. Culverin getting off a nice little cheeky shot there. More Falcons moving forward to dedicate themselves to the cause. Let me volunteer to be your suicide man, he says. And unfortunately, Falconet gets cleaned up, and the army might get cleaned up. Mitoe pointing out that this could be it on the other way around. Unger's looking pretty decent here, Mitoe.
Yeah, Revnak, I'm not sure what he was doing with his army right there. The Falconets were like in weird spots there. This actually looks pretty decent for him at the moment. Lots of Falc volleys though.
At the same time,
double kill.
Colv hits the double. That's what's really important. With that double kill, the Falcons are just going to be all taken down. Oh god, the Kurs could be massive here. You can see him running away. He realizes the damage that can be done, and the Kurs going to connect. under the TC. You could look to clean this up. There's a lot of units underneath this TC, but I can't help but feel like things not looking good at the moment for Ungers. Really needs to focus down each of these cuirassiers, but there's just so much damn health on these bad boys. Oh, Mitoe, this could be it right now. He's looking to clean up, but Unger's knows this is it. This is match point. He can't give it up. It's just not a ladder game. This ain't a friendly custom. You're not going back to the drawing board here. This is it. This is the whole drawing board. This is the whole boardroom.
Well,
Doesn't work
to be honest, I think that trade was really good for Ungers overall. He managed to clean up all the artillery, and he survived the cures, and look at the scores. He's now equalized. Population is dead even. The biggest problem is going to be this gold mine on the top north of the map, where these 5 cures are on the way. That could be a bit of a disaster, potentially.
All right,
he's going to lose a lot of villagers.
We're going to ride on board with those cuirassiers as they move in towards that gold mine up in the north. We're going to the north any second now. There we go. Villagers getting found out. He's trying to split them off into different directions. It's going to be 2 villages, 4 villages, 7 villages that are going to be going the way of the dodo here. Good night, villagers. And now we start to see Revnak really building up that villager lead. Keep in mind, he's got the Kura de Bar behind this, Mitoe, which is just the supreme villager. You couldn't ask for a better unit.
Yeah, you've got to be happy to have a 15 Coeur de Bois lead. That's pretty solid. Oh man, there was more vills down here as well. 2 more vills going down for Ungers.
Scratch that. We've gone from the 15 Coeur de Bois lead to it's a 16 Coeur de Bois lead now. Yeah, things not looking pretty right now for Ungers. He's got a big hole in his economy.
But there might be a counter raid on the other side here. Oh, they're just gonna torch the barracks and run away.
It's an appropriate response. That unit has got a voice line and a half. I don't know if you heard that.
I did hear that.
That was quite a bit. These guys
they were lamenting that there were no villagers to kill.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time. So these are consulate gendarmes, a little bit stronger than your ordinary gendarmes, but now pushing away. Revnak looking very solid in this position. The longer this game goes on, the better for Revnak, because he's just going to continue scaling with these extra bills.
Yeah, the military still looks decent for Ungers, but he definitely has to do something with it soon.
And that's exactly it. And we can see he's up on the military score quite a bit. But now we're going to have to fall back away from this position. He's got skirms in here, looking to try and hold on, outnumbered heavily. Explorer goes down on the backside. Now the Kerr is going to be moving forward, looking to try and get a connection here. And all of a sudden, a beautiful little surround, but he's going to have to fall back. He's not happy with the concave. Now looking to recommit. The skirms once again moving forward, bringing out the butts of their guns onto the cavalry of the enemy. And now the Cuirassier is really looking to push up. He's happy with this connection. He's got a beautiful little front here. Focusing down all the Dragoons on the backside, doing a decent job. And now all of the muskets going to be moving into melee, looking to try and clear out the cavalry here. Unger's holding on, doing an okay job. Cuirassier up against Cuirassier. Numbers not looking healthy for Revnak, but remember, he's got that economy behind this. Still, it's a bit of a break even right now. I mean, we've seen Ungers win this fight, but it's not by a huge margin.
No.
Is he in trouble?
Like, it depends on whether or not Ungers can punish the CDBs out on the map. Like, these trades, even if they're slightly bad for Revnak, they're fine as long as he doesn't lose villagers, because he can replace this army, and Ungers can't replace it as easily.
All right, well, the Scums continue holding on for the moment. You can see the reinforcements just coming across the map at this point. But Revnak just looking more and more in control as the game goes on. Could we potentially see a revolt coming out, Mitoe?
I didn't even notice he had fishing boats.
You're not wrong. When did these fishing boats come out?
I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks like Revnak's had about 6 or 7 fishing boats at some point in the game here. So that's a really nice addition to his economy.
Yeah, very smart move there. You know, on a map like this, you would very rarely expect to see it. It's kind of like seeing fishing boats on Yellow River. It's just, it's very, very strange. Now those skirms moving up. Falconet going to be able to take a shot. Or actually, I think that's just the Culver. Never mind. Looking at like it does a bit of damage, but the Explorer getting out. doing a little bit of sword swinging. Skirms focusing down the villagers. This is a gold mine, and if you lose control of this, you lose control of everything. Now Unger's going to be running back away from this position. Unfortunately, nothing to really show for it. And now the Cuirassier is going to be moving out, going to be able to collect that Culverin for free. Goon's going to be able to force it back. The Skirms, as well as the Muskets, looking to focus it down, doing a decent job. The Colv does indeed go down. And now we see a real swing. Revnak up on 71 military population, up against the 59 of Ungers. You can't help but feel like this game is almost over at this point. Revnak looking very good. And with this game being over, keep in mind, Revnak currently up in this series 4-3. It is match point. If Revnak wins here, there is no game number 9. Revnak is your victor.
Yeah, Ungers is going to stick it out, though. You don't quit in this situation. There's a lot of exposed CDBs in the middle of the map. Unfortunately, just outside of Lunger's line of sight, I think. He's not quite able to punish that. He's trying really hard to get control of this gold mine on the north of the map, so that's like where all of his army is focused right now.
And that's the smart move, right? This is the key factor here. It's keeping control of that gold mine because that's going to enable you to have more units coming out. But the hard part is that your economy is so far behind right now. You're down, you know, a 19 villager difference, and your villagers, they're nowhere near as good as your enemy's villagers. So it just makes it even harder. But now the big drag box coming in. Revnak, rather, looking healthy with these units. Just trying to find a nice little angle. Explorer gets one shot in the face. Precious in the side of the Lord. I didn't see Precious in the side of the Lord is the death of the something. I missed it all.
Yeah, this is looking tough for Ungers. He's down 8,000 score almost. Well, okay, maybe only 6,000 score, but it's still bad.
It's very tough to get back into the game from here. I mean, realistically, there's probably not much you can do, is there? I mean, maybe a really nice Falk shot from downtown that doesn't get picked up. You know, maybe if Ungers can sneak out 6 Falks, but how does he do that when he's really trying to contest control over the gold mine?
Yeah, he really needs Revnak to make some mistakes to get himself back into the game. It looks like he did train some artillery. Whether it will be enough remains to be seen. I mean, Revnak's just going to keep adding cuirassiers in here, and that's just going to make the artillery less effective. Oh, but that could be a nice raid, getting a couple vills here.
Yeah, this isn't too bad, but there's not a lot of cuirassiers in this mix. You'd love to see, but the 3 Falcons on the backside. Let's see how they do. As the Dragoons continue moving forward, they spot it, and all of a sudden, everybody moves forward. They're like, go, go, go. And indeed, the engines are running right now, hot. Revnak looking to dive in. The first of the Falconets goes down. The second one going to be looked to target it down. Indeed, it does go down. Gets a decent volley off on the backside. Skirmishers trying their best to break it through, but that third Falconet goes through, and with that, the hope for Ungers is slowly fading. A good game gets called. Revnak is your victor here at Kings of the Old World.
Yeah, well played to Revnak in this game. Just good control over the map, and he maintained it the whole time. Couple mistakes maybe from Ungers with the building placement in the middle of the map. Maybe a little bit too optimistic with those haciendas, and he got punished for it.
Indeed he did. So absolutely beautifully played here from Revnak, winning the series 5-3 up against Ungers. Impressive play today from him. Looked early, there were a couple mistakes. We're starting to wonder, you know, is Revnak okay? Is looking a little bit worrisome, but a huge victory coming out here for the Royal Clan, coming out for Revnak. Sure, all those folks back at Clan Royal HQ are going to be very happy with this one. But yes, Revnak, impressive stuff there. I mean, he's been a very controversial player the way that he plays. It's a little bit, you know, outside the standard, but today, just immaculate stuff.
Yeah, just solid play from him overall today. And to give Ungers some credit as well, getting second place in a tournament when I think a lot of people didn't even know who he was a year ago. So massive improvement from him. Overall, like a really close finals, like 5-3. Could have very easily been 5-4. And yeah, overall, a great series.
Yeah, definitely. It was a beautiful day. Wonderful games. Coming out throughout the day. And hey, look, we didn't get 18 games, but I'll take 16. I reckon that's still a pretty decent deal right there. What do you reckon, Mitoe?
I'm happy with 16 games.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. All right. Well, we got some people to thank before we close this one out. So first and foremost, a big shout out goes over to Joshua, who has been absolutely amazing this evening. It's been a 6.5 hour cast, and he's somewhere in Australia, and well, it's 7:30 a.m. here right now, so he's been going ham for the last 3 days doing this stuff. So look, mate, I'm impressed. So huge shout out to you, and of course, massive shout out to the sponsors of the event. Mitoe, this is your expertise. Tac Cafe, Microsoft. Who's the third one? Can you name it?
I actually don't know who the third one is.
That's exactly correct. No one does because it was anonymous. So shout out to anonymous. Thank you very much. It was a trick question, Mitoe. You were never going to get the answer to that one.
How could you do this to me?
And obviously a huge shout out to everybody at home behind ESOC that organizes it. So that's people like Noel, Harrison, Mr. Bramboy. I don't know if Mr. Bramboy's still out there doing it. Eagle Butt, all the big guys out there, and yeah, of course Ryan H2O. Even though I haven't seen him in the chat, I don't know. Maybe he might be lurking, and of course you as well, Mitoe. You're always out there. But other than that, I guess who else have we got to thank? I guess perhaps the fans, the viewers. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast, the games today. It was a lot of action. Great to be back on the mic in AoE3, wasn't it, Mitoe? It's been a while since we've been here, but I tell you what, it's just as much action as there used to be, hey?
AoE3 is a great game. I'm always happy to cast it.
Yeah, it's definitely action packed. A lot more action packed, at least throughout those later game fights. It's some other games get really bogged down with walls everywhere, but AoE3. I mean, despite us watching a Revnak series, didn't seem to have that many walls, did it?
Nope. Overall, not too many this series, or even the previous series, or the tournament in general.
Yeah. I think walls are in a good place. I think we should leave them the way they are. All right. Well, we've just got news from the tournament admin that the underdog prize winner for the event has gone to Warsword. So congratulations to Warsword for winning the underdog prize. And I think that's with a very clear, how would I say? I mean, it's been evidenced, hasn't it? The fact that he's made it this far to see him here on the final day. Jeez, Warsword, hey? Good on you, mate. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be joining Revnak shortly for a post-game interview. We're going to be asking him the best of questions. I'm sure he's going to get dragged up here any second. And, we're going to be diving on in. Another big shout out coming through. We may have missed one, Vlad the Junior. I'm not sure if you're still here, mate, but if you are, big shout out to you, making this overlay, the overlay program, keeping everything together on the back end. They're the unsung heroes, aren't they? All the guys doing the back end. I always see those memes. Front end dev versus the back end dev. The back end devs, man, they never get the credit. So credit where credit's due. Thank you, Vlad.
Yeah, the overlays are absolutely awesome. Love to see them.
All right, now we got one or two options. We can drop down to Revnak. He's in Azam's livestock pen at the moment, with quite a lot of other things. Or we can drag him up here. I don't know if we've got admin powers. It looks like. All right, we'll head up to him.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can indeed hear you. I'm going to have to turn you up a little bit. Mitoe's just joining. Well, first of all, congratulations, Revnak. It is an absolute pleasure to crown you the king of the old world. Congratulations, mate. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much. I am feeling very great. I prepared a lot for this tournament in the recent weeks, and I practiced a lot for it and practiced payoff. But I also want to congratulate my opponent Ungers, who has shown a very good games to us, and all games were almost close. The games could go for either side, and I want to congratulate him as well. And I also want to thank you, Drongo. You probably didn't even sleep. You are awake since hours, and Mitoe, thanks to you. You probably woke up from your sleep in the morning and you are awake. Like, you guys are doing great work. I want to thank you a lot that you guys are trying to revive the Age of Empires 3 community and make it even bigger. I want to thank you so much.
Oh, that's very, very kind of you. Yes, yeah, Mitoe, he did a wonderful job this evening. So yeah, thanks, Mitoe, for the casting. So I want to take you back to some of those games, and to talk a little bit about them. So let's talk about the very first game. It was an Italian mirror. Things didn't start off so well. How are you feeling after losing the first game, you know, in the grand finals? It must have been a little bit, like, maybe a bit scary. How were you feeling?
Thing is that I have a mindset that even if I am 4-0 behind, I don't care. That's a different approach I have, so that I just don't look at the result. But for a side note, I want to add, first game I was very nice with my economy, with my macro. Actually, I had also had a nice economically, but problem is my computer sound closed itself. Like, my computer sound gone, okay, and I lost sound in the game. I wasn't hearing anything. I get traded. I like without like playing without sound is just makes you so tilted. You know, you can't concentrate well. You make mistakes that you normally wouldn't do, and then I realized that my color micro went off. Like that was a very bad move, but very well played by him. I mean, I just restarted my computer and I was like, okay, we will continue with the next game, you know? Because Italy mirrors are very random. Like, I played this matchup with Julian K, aka Floco, who is also very great player, and with Kinesi. And in this matchup, it can always go for either way, and it generally matters about the Calvary micro, which I am not greatest at, so that it is a little bit tricky one, yeah.
Yeah, well, you did a great job of bouncing back from that loss in the next game with the win on Malta. How did you feel when that fixed gun went up in the center of the map?
I swear, after losing second TC, I was like, okay, should I resign? Like, I literally thought that, okay? I was like, I never tilt in the game, but I was like, will I ever able to recover from this, you know? And then I was like, I am the least experienced with Malta, and I almost never played with him more than like 15 games. And I just played with random build orders, so that when I was playing it, I was like, I don't know what to ship, okay? I was like, okay, let's ship fix gun. And Ungers kept right clicking to fix gun. And I think I got like 30 free kills in early game, and it made the game in my advantage. But that was a pretty funny moment that after that I just raid, you know, and I tried to get advantage from other things, and I added second and third TC. And as you know, Malta crossbows are with 3x card, they are incredibly strong because they are very cost efficient. So that in late H3, I think Malta is probably one of the best here because you don't really lose economy. Your units are extremely cheap, you know. And France, of course, I mean, when you look at the crossbow stats, they become better than skirmishers, and skirmishers are much more expensive, you know.
Yeah, well, too bad those fixed guns don't get promotions, because I reckon that guy, he would have he would have had about 12 promotions after that. He was doing very well. Well, in that last game, one of the trends that Mitoe pointed out is that we're seeing a lot of players go for really heavy artillery compositions. You know, focusing a lot on, you know, culverin and focusing a lot on falconets. How comfortable are you with the meta at the moment? And are you look incredibly comfortable on the culverin, on the falconets. Is that a playstyle that you enjoy?
It is actually because I blame my friend Julian K, aka Floco, for it, because in our practice games it always ends up artillery war. Okay, so that my play style shifted to making artillery every game, and it kind of the game changes, people changes, and the meta, like we players change the meta as ourselves, so that recently we see a lot more Calvinists, especially with Italy, because Italian Calvinists have something like 10% or 15%. Pardon me if I am mistaken. They have extra additional HP, so that they are very strong, and you want to get sort of artillery trade with them as well, so that the artillery fights kind of becoming more popular. But in the last game, I was really having a lot of idle issues, and I noticed that I also went for water boom, so that every second I get an idle, and I can't really focus at a Calvin fight at the same time. So I just decided that why don't I just switch to Crusaders, and then like. But I want to add that in the last game, the Walter edition helped me a lot. Like the 70 wood fishing boats are extremely efficient in the definitive edition meta, I think.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having this post game interview with us. That's all the questions that we've got for you this evening. But once again, congratulations, Revnak. It's an absolute pleasure to finally hear your voice and to congratulate you as the king of the old world. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you. You are so
Yeah,
kind.
congratulations.
Thank you again. Thanks for everything. You guys are the reason why Age of Empires 3 community is becoming something, and hopefully our main goal is to make it into the Red Bull LAN event next year. I think we will do that. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get to see it there. It sucks that we didn't get to make it this year, but yeah, hopefully next year it'll be there. But yeah, the game continues to grow, and once again, thank you for the interview this evening, and yeah, we shall catch you later because we have got more interviews that we're going to be giving up.
All right, see you guys.
All right, see you, mate. All right, Mitoe. So we're going to be talking next up. We've got a couple of different people that we're going to be chatting to, including the best underdog runner for the event. No, it's not Unger's. It is going to be with Warsword as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. He's from China, so I'm curious how good his English is going to be. But I mean, if he can speak some decent English, I'm going to be impressed with that because it can be tough.
Yeah, I have to say, once again, Warsword is one of the players I'm most impressed with in this tournament. Especially that series today. Like, I think he played really, really well. And yeah, like I said, he was completely off my radar before this tournament started, but obviously a very strong player.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. He's done incredibly well here today. Super like that. He was really close to actually beating out multiple people. Looks like he's joined. Welcome, Warsword. Congratulations for your run. You did incredibly well. You made it all the way to the third place match and obviously did very well there. So, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Thank you. And I feel very happy today. And to be honest, I never think that I can be the third player in the tournament. And I spent so many times, and I lose so many games, and I never said anything about it. So and now I feel very happy. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and a lot of the games that you were playing very, very close. You played against Absolute Utopia, that was 4-2, and then you played against Ungers, who went on to the grand final, and you went up against him 4-3. So very, very close. But then when you went up against Floco in the end, 5-2, you just destroyed him. How were you feeling after that game? It must have been crazy to win third place so convincingly.
I think the tournament it must be if you do some research and do more ready for this tournament, and you can get more win rates. And to be honest, when I uh, when I wish with broken. To be honest, I guess more the country pink that are in the blind Steve truth. So I think when I see the country pink, that I think I can got the win. Must be confidence. Confidence is very important for me.
It must have been hard for you because the very first game in your series, you lost that. It was an Italy mirror. And did you lose confidence after the first game?
Oh, because I think the first game, Italy, I think I must lost it. If I lost it, then I don't have country pressure in the after games. It's on my plan. It's on my plan. So it makes the sense, and I know I can't win the Italy with Floco. It's a truth. I can in these games I can win her. He's better.
Well, yeah, it was very convincing once you had the after the first game you lost, and I think you won the next 4 games in a row. It looked very good. Mito, did you have any questions for Warsword?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, if there are any particular games that you played in this tournament that stood out to you as a game you're really proud to have won.
I don't think there's no. I think there's no any games that make me amazing. Because I think every games after every games I think I will think about it. Think about this game. Well, what the points and what the punch that I should do the better, do the best that I can do, that I don't do that. I think every games, in every games I can find some mistakes that I made. So every games is not perfect. I must find it mm, bad mistake. But if I can join this tournament like this, that's my pleasure. That's my honor. It's my honor. Yeah.
Well, you did incredibly well. We're very happy that you are going to be the underdog. You're crowned the number one underdog in the tournament. People didn't expect you to come this far, but I think you've made a lot of fans. I know I'm definitely one because I got to see you play Sweden. I got to see you play United States. And I know that Mito is a fan as well because he got to see you play China. So
Yes.
we're definitely very, very happy to see you play again, hopefully, with those same civilizations.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations for the 3rd place. And it was lovely to speak with you. And best of luck moving forward. And hopefully you continue getting better.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'm happy to communicate with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Warsword.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, we're going to be moving into our final interview. Actually, no, I take that back. It's not going to be our final interview. It's going to be our 3rd interview for this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Ungers.
Okay.
Well, it was a tough game, mate, but hey, you made it through to the grand finals. How are you feeling? It must have been absolutely, a very, very long battle there.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect to go this far. Well, my expectations were top 8 highest, but then I somehow beat Opti and then Warsword, so yeah.
It's incredibly impressive. Obviously, I know who you are. I remember seeing your name flashed around, but never in the like my wildest dreams did I think you'd be here standing at the top, because typically the players that are standing here at the top are those titans that you talked about. Opti, obviously Revnak, he's been around for a while. How does it feel sort of being almost like the new kid on the block and just destroying everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only one. Like Julian's definitely, he has been impressing everyone in this tournament, because on the first qualifiers, I think, or the second one, he lost quite badly, but then came back and made it to top 4. So I don't think I'm the only one that's been a surprise.
All right. Well, I want to take you back into the series that you played. The last game that you played as Mexico. I want to ask a question about the Haciendas. Can you tell us a little bit about the thinking process with the forward Haciendas? What was the idea there?
Well, I lost to this to Ace, and I just tried it. To run around with bikes. But then, Breeze Walled, which kind of kills the whole strategy of running around. And then, he edged up and slowly snowballed.
All right, Mitoe, did you have a question for Ungers?
Yeah, I was just wondering because you seem to have like a pretty varied style of play. Like you've kind of done like a lot of different build orders in this series and the tournament overall, and I'm wondering like if there's a specific style of play that you really prefer to play or really enjoy playing.
I guess I'm in the semi-FF gang. I really like Germany, France, Haudenosaunee. Those are my main civs. It's kind of sad I lost with 2 of them, but yeah, it is what it is.
A man after my own heart.
Yes, we're both members of the Semi-FF gang and very happy to welcome a new member. I guess my next question is, how do we pronounce your name? Because I'm going with Ungers. I think, Mitoe, you're putting a bit more emphasis on the Ungers. What's the best way for us to pronounce it going forward?
So in Latvian, it's Ungurs.
Oh, gosh. Oh, no one was expecting that one, Ungers. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Ungush. Is that Ungurs?
Ungurs.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to be sticking with Ungers.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. Does it have a special meaning, your name?
No.
No? Okay, cool. All right. Well, I didn't have any more questions. How about you, Mitoe?
No, I just want to congratulate you again on a fantastic run. Hopefully we see you again at the top of another tournament.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a beautiful run. So yeah, congratulations, and yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing it because yeah, it was impressive stuff. Gosh, just taking out people like crazy. I mean, yeah, just Warsword, Optimus. Opti was the big one. I'm like, hold on, Unger's beat Optimus? Damn. Whew. That was impressive. All right, well, I had no further questions with regard to it. I don't think Mitoe does either. So, Ungers, congratulations for getting this far, mate. And enjoy the prize money, hey? 1,500, not too bad.
Yeah. All right. See you.
Thanks, mate. Bye. All right, well, we were going to be jumping into an interview with Julian, but unfortunately, he is currently AFK, and we can't get him. So we'll wait a little bit longer. We might be able to get him, but we're also going to be waiting on the best match decision from chat and the admins. So I don't know, chat, if you've started to vote on that just yet. If we had to vote for the best match that we saw today, Mitoe, we're already on the same page for that one. It's got to be the Germany plus Sweden game. That was a great game. So much action in that one, and so much Sweden in that game.
I don't know. I thought that the Portuguese Malta game, this last series between Revnak and Ungers was a really good.
It was. Yes, that was a very good game actually. Now that you mention it, yeah, that was a good one. Oh man, yeah, there was a lot of good games in there. All right, well, we're gonna wait for word. All right. Well, the word that we've received is that the admins have determined that. Drum roll, please. Come on, Mitoe, get your drums out, Mitoe. Come on, this is what you're good. This is why we pay you the big bucks, Mitoe.
It's not picking up my sound. It only picks up my voice. Drums. Boop 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 boop. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't make a drum noise with my mouth.
It is an ESOC poll, and that's where we will decide. So it's going to be a little bit more formal than chat just throwing out games that happened 2 weeks ago that they thought were really good. It's going to be a little bit of a discussion. That's the way that the admins have determined it. So unfortunately, we don't get to find out today what the best.
We know what it'll be. If it's an ESOC poll, it's Garja.
It's always Garja. It is indeed the answer to everything.
But yeah, we will be waiting to see the results of that poll for the best match. It sounds like.
Indeed, we shall. All right. Well, with that, I suspect there's no further ado, Mitoe, in this case. So, without any more games for us to show this evening, we've been fortunate in seeing 16 out of a potential 18 games. It's been a hell of a stream. We're just 1 minute over the 7-hour mark. We've already given our thanks. We've already given the congratulations. Do you have any final words before we sign off as the kings of the old world?
No, just thanks to everyone for joining us for these awesome games today. Thanks to everyone who made this $9,000 tournament possible. It's good to see that AoE 3 still has some life in it and potentially will continue growing in the future. And it's been a lot of fun being back casting with you today.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. Age of Empires 3. I mean, it's still as lively as it ever used to be. I'm loving all the little memes that we're starting to see develop. Well, I say memes, but the strategies for the civilizations. It's just getting crazy. And for me, the biggest step away from today is the development of the build orders is getting really impressive. Like for me, the big thing was the Spanish build orders, the way that people are going from 3 vills into capitalism straight away, and then it's just slingshotting them up even further. So, I mean, we're just seeing this constant improvement in build orders, aren't we? So that's always exciting to see. But yeah, I mean, you would have told me, you told the guy 10 years ago that, hey, people are just going to be doing like 7-minute fast fortresses as the standard. It'd be like, there's no possibility. But indeed, it is possible. So I guess that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to everybody. We've already given our thanks. We won't be doing it again. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And hey, we'll catch you next time.